We did it. We're on.
We're here?
The real
Oh,
deal. It's the
oh
real
my
deal.
goodness.
Look who's in here already. They're here for us.
I know, on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Well, I don't know. Is it beautiful where you're at? It's nice here.
It was really overcast, but what was more important to me was the cheese enchiladas that I had earlier. That was all that mattered. That was all. I didn't care. I didn't care about anything else. And the salsa was good too. Not going to make that up. I really put it
I
away.
actually have a new fave thing from Erewhon. It's they have a chicken quesadillas there. Oh my God, those are so good. Wow.
Wait,
they're so good. They come
Why? That's pretty basic. What's so special? I need to know.
I don't
Is there
know.
like
They
a
must put
pico in it?
I don't know what's in there. I don't know.
I need to know. You can't talk about it without knowing what's going on.
I'm not opening my food to check. It doesn't
really
matter.
Would you say it's a pico or is it like a spice?
I would say it's whatever cheese they're using is really, really good.
That's key. Okay, so it's the cheese. How's the chicken in it?
It's so good too. It's shredded. But it was okay. So it comes in 4 pieces, right? So I did 3 for dinner, and then the next day I did scrambled eggs on top of the last one for breakfast. Oh, the whole day
that'll change your life. Yeah, it changed the outlook of your day, didn't it?
Everything.
Sometimes I bite into food, and the waitress will come over and check, and I'm like, she's like, "You doing okay?" I'm like, "This changed the whole outlook on my future. Like, I'm gonna have a brighter future because of my experience right now. Food is so good. It
food has that
everything.
Effect. Absolutely. Like, just imagine if they just fed Sea Org members better. I mean, they would probably never leave. They could take the abuse.
Smack me around. Just give me those quesadillas.
Please, good food. No, I went to I was invited by my Swedish friends to an F1 party last night to watch the races, which, I mean, depending on what you like, can be exciting. I don't know, not really my thing, but it was fun because of the gathering. And my buddy John's girlfriend, she had this apple pie with ice cream on top that was out of this world. Like, when you take a bite of something and you realize it's so good that you want to eat it as slow as possible so you get as much enjoyment as possible.
Or when you take a bite of something and you're like, this is worth diabetes. I'm okay with this. It's totally worth it. Like, this is so good. It just raises my mood so much that I will die a little bit younger because of this.
Absolutely. I think that's part and parcel. Part of happiness is that exact moment when you realize what you're eating is so good that you can't stop smiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. By the way, hi guys. Hello, everybody.
Yes. Hey, everybody.
We weren't ignoring you. It was the right time and it felt right. Sterling's quesadillas. We couldn't pause. We needed to address it right away.
I've actually been waiting to tell you about it. So,
I love that. I knew that was something right on the tip of your mind. Same with me about my cheese enchiladas today.
Yep.
It was rocked my whole world. Sounds basic, but the same. It's the red sauce. It's the red sauce for me.
Oh, it's the red. Okay, that's the trick.
Oh, it's so good. So guys, what's going on? What's going on in the chat? How's everybody's life? I want to say something, Sterling. I'm sorry that you have to be here for it, but guys, I haven't done a live since Friday night. Do I make my own red sauce? No, I definitely don't. I grew up in a cult.
Do you bring it with you to the restaurant, or did you have your enchiladas at a restaurant, or no?
Yeah, okay. Definitely, guys. I don't make Mexican food at home. I was I didn't grow up learning how to cook, so no. Guys, I do want to say something though, because I didn't do a live yesterday. It was such a packed, filled day with Huxley. I want to say thank you. How many are in here? 362. Thank you so much for Friday night. I have been actually this morning. I spent 4 hours this morning and I still didn't get it done. But Jeff was like, "Are you ready to go?" And I was like, "No, not yet. I'm still answering emails." And I was just pounding on my keyboard, answering you guys. Well, on a phone keyboard. I wasn't on my computer. This is how it looked like, if you want to know, just to reenact. But I just want to say thank you. Yeah, Shelly is 100% right there.
Agreed.
I'm not going to I wouldn't even attempt that. Guys, I'm serious. So Friday was the most special live I've ever been privileged to be a part of. It was so special. There were so many of you there, and Sterling, I don't like to cry in front of Sterling, so I'm not going to, but I was pretty emotional all day yesterday. Like I just couldn't get, I was just kept getting overwhelmed. Now, I think we all know Shark Week is coming in a few days, and we know by now my cycle that I get real emotional. Sterling, I'm so sorry that you're here for this, but it is what it is. So it probably was that too, but thank you guys so much. I'm serious. It was unbelievable. And just the messages even afterward. And I think a lot of people were crying with me. So you guys, I had in my head what I wanted his birthday. Sterling, this is our first year with him being out of Scientology. Yeah. And this will be our first. So this was his first birthday and our first holidays.
I actually caught the end of that, Reese, and I was so touched by how many people reached out, not only in the comments, but sent gifts, sent little things there. And Huxley's interaction with you in the chat was to me just precious.
Oh my God. It was overwhelming though. And I kept trying not to cry, and then I was crying, and
I'd never heard him speak either. I love his voice. His voice is really cool. But then he put on the Dodgers hat, and I was like, okay, that kid's cool. There's no question.
He loves sports. I don't know if you were a part of it. Somebody said he's a mini Sterling. I was like, you know what? He could go on and on with Sterling. Like they could just talk. He knows like you do. He just knows like third baseman for this and that, and just like certain little factoids. So he he loves it.
No, that was so precious, Reese. That was so precious.
It really was. And so I will address it on a live with you guys again, but I just want to say it was, I had in my head how I wanted it to go. Like I said, it's his first birthday out. Hey, Daria. And it went 100 times better than how I wanted it to go. So thank you. I'll never forget it. And I love that we did it on camera. He'll be able to watch that for years to come. So
yeah, right. That's so
yes. Cool. Yes. So thank you. Sterling, sorry for that.
No. Hey, no. Please. I'm a guest. Which brings the point.
You're a co-host. You're not a guest.
I'm a sort of we go back and forth. We're guest hosts
on each other's shows, but this is our Sunday time.
That is true. But that being said, I think you had some questions for me today, which would be fun and interesting. Because again, I was so fascinated learning those things about you last week. And I did, after our discussion, I don't know if everyone remembers what we spoke about last week, but one of the very, very interesting things, again, is the contrast. And so Reese grew up in a Scientology family. I grew up in a Sea Org family. But Reese's Scientology family was more strict and demanding about Scientology than my family ever was. My parents would never think of talking about conditions with me, talking about exchange, calling me a bank or anything along that line. And they were at the top of the Sea Org. So I find that so interesting, the contrast in that, and that you got that sort of treatment, which is interesting too, because I also know that my mom's sister, who was never in the Sea Org, but is a Scientologist, had the same view about her kids, exchange. And when my twin brother lived with her for a little bit in the early 2000s, he couldn't stand living with her because she was just shoving all that stuff down his throat then. So like it's just so strange
weird.
To hear that.
And guys, so that's what I don't necessarily have questions specifically. I might have a few, but I actually like it more when we start just off on a topic like this and then we just take it from there. And Sterling is absolutely right. I think it's so weird that you would think it'd be the opposite. Like to me, I would think growing up in the Sea Org, you would have paid hell. It would have been awful with your parents, and they would have been, but they were actually more like loosey-goosey with you. I feel like they were more just kind of like chill.
Yeah. I mean, and again,
they actually seem to love you. Your parents.
And it depends on the parents too, right? It really, really does. I mean, it's a luck of the draw, because guess what? Scientology or not, you can end up with crap parents no matter what. But I ended up with two very loving parents, and specifically my stepmom, Barbara, when knowing the troubles I had as a kid with authority, with my temper and stuff like that, she knew to give me an outlet, which wasn't Scientology. She knew that getting me to play sports would just keep me happy and sane to some degree. And she did that. She went way above and beyond what any other parent did at that time in that scenario. which again, I'll always love her for, and I appreciate it.
I
And
was
my
just saying,
dad, even though he
so
worked,
lovely.
yeah, right. My dad, even though he worked longer hours, when he was with us, he was fun. We snuck into a LA Raiders football game one time. We would go to the movies. So there was just certain parts that, you know, I don't have a lot of bad memories at that age. As a child, the bad memories really start mostly when I joined the Sea Org. There was a couple things I spoke about earlier where I was on the children's RPF, and I had to escape out of Big Blue and run down to my parents' apartment and, you know, just kind of hide so they wouldn't come catch me. And at that point, my parents actually stood up and wouldn't let them take me back. And that's when I started going to public school by myself. I was the only kid in my age group that was going to public school. Everyone else was going to a cadet school at that time.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Do you see the question I just put up? This is
no, I didn't.
This
Sorry.
is interesting.
I changed my screen, so I have a left and right screen now. So I got to remember that I have to look over here every once in a while.
But you can see the chat, right?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
Okay. So Natra's mom, I want to know the answer to this too, Sterling. Wouldn't the difference be that the parents in Sea Org rarely got to see their kids? Is that the difference, would you say?
Yeah, that would be the big difference. It's not a normal childhood. You don't have, you're not spending every weekend with your parents. You're not getting after 6 till the end of the night with your parents. When I was growing up with Barbara, there was an hour break for parents specifically in the Sea organization. But yeah, no, there's a difference in the time spent for sure.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that's a good thing, but I just don't ever remember having any clash with any of my parents on the subject of them shoving Scientology down my throat. The only thing they ever insisted upon was that I do a contact assist if I had an injury or if I fell down or anything along that line. So
when you did a contact assist, did they give you a command, even though there isn't one? My dad, my sister, and I were talking about this. He would always go, touch it back.
No, never. That's
all the
funny.
time. It was so creepy. And my sister was in a chat the other day going, I can still hear our dad going, touch it back. And it was like so aggressive the way he would do it. And contact assists are so weird because I was saying this in my live. I don't know how it was with your experience, but like your wound, whatever happened, could be throbbing in pain. So the last thing you want to do is that was my least favorite assist. I hated those things because it was just so, I mean, usually I was hurting pretty bad. I'd hit a bone or something and you'd have to touch it back over and over. And I was like, oh, it hurts so bad. Like, I don't want to do that.
Absolutely the worst, Reese. It was something, it's like, not only that, it's been proven scientifically that adrenaline will take pain away. So slowing everything down and repeating in slow motion the action that just happened will not make it go away faster.
No,
it's the actual opposite. If you bumped your leg while you were on the swing set and you just kept running around the yard, the pain would dissipate a lot quicker.
Do you ever wonder why he made stuff like that up? Like, where did that come from?
I think that's a placebo. I personally think it's a placebo thing. I think it's something that you could tell someone to do over and over again, and they could eventually convince themselves that it works. And it's such an easy explanation of how it quote unquote works, even though there's no science behind it. I just think it was just something easy to, let me help you this with your child, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, look, you're a mom, right? I've coached kids in sports before. You know, if a kid gets hurt and you walk up to him and you're not like, oh my God, are you okay? Is everything? And you're just like in a really calm voice and say, hey, are you okay? Where does it hurt? Right there.
Huge difference.
Let me look at it. Okay, you know what? You're good. It's not broken.
If you don't attach a bunch of drama to it,
they'll walk away most of the time.
Yes. And that even goes with babies. I remember that with Huxley. If you go, they freak out.
Absolutely.
But if you're just like, you okay? And just play it off, they're usually fine, unless of course they're actually hurt. But
but you know, you can learn, like I learned from Jackson when I was in the Sea organization, how to quickly assess the injury level of a staff member or another person. So you can tell. I mean, if you got a basic training, you can tell if it's a broken bone or if it's something more serious, or if they need to continue laying on their back, or even if it's a concussion. But really, it's easy to tell those things. And, you know, if it's a shin bruise, I mean, it's going to hurt like nothing else, but it's going to go away pretty quickly, especially if you keep the adrenaline level high, if you go right back into whatever activity you were doing. So
totally. It's just so We should talk about that sometime. Just like the bizarre things. Some things in Scientology I can kind of connect to. I'm like, oh, I can see that. Like that makes sense. But it also isn't something invented by L. Ron Hubbard, like study technology. Right. Dictionaries were around before that.
Right,
but then there are some things that I'm like, where did that come from? Why does that make sense? It never made sense to me.
Yeah, and I don't know the history behind it, actually. I would wonder when he came up with that. How far after Dianetics? I mean, it must have been. I actually I don't particularly remember ever reading the Contact Assist anywhere, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. That's just me. I wasn't a big Scientologist at all.
It was in the book, the assist booklet, and it was in the you know the thick. I think I have them still. They're out in the garage. You know the 2 packets, big packet things of the assists. It was like purple binder. It was huge, and it had like there was a bloody nose assist. There was very specific assists in those. I use that book all the time. The Contact was in there, but it was also in the just the little assist booklet. Okay. Guys, don't worry, Killy Billy. That's why I'm not looking directly at Sterling, because as he's talking, I'm starring a ton of questions. So I'm already on it, babe. Don't worry, because this is why I figured too. I'm not going to have as many questions for Sterling because everybody else will, and they're really good questions. Barb says, "How do you star things?" Barb, I don't think mods can do it. I'm not actually sure about that.
I heard that someone did, but it would feel like cheating if the mod was starring it for you, right? Because you're the one that's direct, so you're going to pick the question based on where it's going. So
I don't know if a mod can or can't. I've never tried that. But don't worry, Killy Billy. I'm definitely starring questions. There's some really good ones here for Sterling that I would like the answer to as well. You guys just beat me to it on asking. But I'm glad everybody's in here. This is a lot of people tonight. So thank you for being here. While we're here, before we kind of get going, if you guys don't mind, go ahead and like this again. I'm sure that helps, but I more care about you being unsubscribed. I had so many people, I think, get unsubscribed yesterday. Yeah, yesterday I had like 22 people unsubscribed. Now, again, could have just been because they don't like me, but it also could be that they were unsubscribed by accident. So please check to make sure you're subscribed. I'm really close to 15,000, and I would like to get to 15,000 like this week if we can. It's doesn't seem that hard. I need like 400 more people. It's not a big deal.
And I'm glad you mentioned that. I saw just quickly. I saw a comment from someone where they had said,
hey,
Reese and Sterling, you guys, you pay too much attention to the number. And I think the person meant it well, but I just want to clarify something. Said, you pay too much attention to the numbers. YouTube can be very fickle. I don't want you falling in the same trap, et cetera, et cetera. Guys, there's no trap with that. Reese and I talk about the numbers because it's just one of the side benefits that's kind of fun about this is tracking the numbers. Reese isn't stressing about getting up to 15,000. I'm not stressing about getting up to 10,000. It's going to organically happen. We're going to be on here. You can choose to like or not like. That's up to you.
It's just like a Netflix show.
Well, like my favorite mathematician of all time said, you just keep counting the numbers as they go higher. It's just a fun thing. By the way, you know who my favorite mathematician of all time is?
I have so many. Who's yours?
The Count from Sesame Street. He was the best.
2. Okay, good. Yeah. I'm glad we're on the same page there because, again, mathematicians, I'm obsessed with them. Kind of like fitness. I'm all about fitness. Fitness and math. That's all I do.
That's it. That's all you want. You don't want anything else. You're good.
He is absolutely right about that. It's not. Now, I always say I would love to climb. I would love to get higher and higher. But it's not about the numbers and it's not about money for me. I want it to happen organically. And if you don't like me, don't subscribe to me. It's all about, for me, quality, not quantity. And I've said that for a long time. So I want the right group of people. I want the right numbers. Please, if you don't, that's okay too. So Reese, where is Aaron? Guys, Aaron is on vacation. He's in London with his family and he's on vacation. So he talked a little bit about possibly doing some lives, but I spoke to him the day before he left, and then I've texted with him a little bit, but I'm leaving Aaron alone. I don't want to bother him. He's on vacation. We all know what that's like. And I have to be honest, I'm glad he's not doing anything. I feel like he needs to take a little bit of a breather. It's good for him. It's good for all of us. I kind of want him to just chill.
Yeah.
He's in another country. That's awesome. Good for him.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think it
not
would be
reaching out to him at
awesome to
all unless
spend. Yeah, no, leave him alone. I think it would be awesome to spend London Thanksgiving in London. I was in London in October and it was beautiful. Not like a month ago, October, but 1 October. So yeah, I'm happy for him, and that's where Aaron is. Nothing to worry about. No alarming stuff. He's just on vacay, and I love it. He's with his
having a good
girls.
time somewhere for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Blake Reed. I was joking, by the way. I don't love math, Blake, but I'm sure you know my humor. You know that.
I actually don't love math either. Yeah.
We came from Scientology. We don't love math because we weren't taught math.
No, nor
I'm not bad at math, though, I will say. Like, I'm not bad at it. I'm not, like, totally clueless. It's just not something I love.
Were you ever made to do the multiplication cards?
In school, yeah.
You were? Okay. I heard that's not a thing anymore. You know.
I don't think it is. I don't think, and I don't remember it. I mean, I couldn't rattle it off, but I don't hate math. It's just not my, again, we weren't raised normally, so.
Yeah, that's so true. So true.
Yeah. You know what I'm best at, of course, is world history.
Yes, you
I
are.
thought Pennsylvania was a state. Or Philadelphia. I thought Philadelphia was a state.
So. Clearly, science is my gig because Krypton is actually the home planet of
1869.
Superman.
That's when it started for Superman. Yeah, guys, we are really good at that.
Yeah, I loved spelling. Was one of my favorite. And
me too. Spelling was my favorite. I won a spelling bee.
Yeah. Oh, did you really?
I did. Yeah, I loved spelling.
Okay. Nerd.
But go on. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, that's okay. No, that's awesome.
I got so excited when you said that. It was like the only thing I was good at.
No, spelling and then obviously history. But again, I didn't get to study everything. So.
Yeah. Did you get that glass at World Market?
No. Williams-Sonoma.
Oh, that's where I registered for my wedding.
Ooh. Williams-Sonoma is nice. They got some cool stuff in there.
I can't get them off my email list though, and it's the worst. I've unsubscribed like 40 times and I just still get one every day.
That's so annoying.
It's really annoying, but I do love Williams-Sonoma.
Guys, if you see my eyes going left and right, it's because I just was sent something pretty cool that would be a perfect thing to show when I'm on with Reese today, which is actually a wedding photo that I have not seen because they took it away from me.
Whose wedding?
My wedding in 1996 that shows Shelley Miscavige. Yeah. Shelley Miscavige and her sisters and Shelley's dad. So probably no one's shown this photo yet, but I thought it popped up. We have people here. It's a Sunday. I'll show it. I've just got to turn it into a PDF.
That's amazing. Please do that. You can do that. And I can kind of keep starring and looking.
As long as no one laughs at me when they see the picture, because I look really weird.
I might laugh. Somebody said it was their first live chat. So welcome. I was looking for that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Guys, I'm not ignoring you all. Everybody's saying hi. Hi back to you. Oh, Blakey, where'd that come from? I think you were excellent at parenting, Reese. Thank you, Blake. That's such a nice thing to say. I love Blake. He's such a supportive person.
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool. He's the shiz.
He is cool. He's so cute too. That's your only talent, that you're a good listener. And a man, that's a huge talent. That's okay. We'll take it.
He has a particular set of skills.
I love that movie.
That was a great movie.
Really, actually, it was. It was a little cheesy. I'll tell you a movie we watched the other day, and I'm kind of embarrassed about it.
Yes.
It's kind of a guilty pleasure. I'm embarrassed. I'm already feeling the heat come up in my face. But it's no worse than Steven Seagal, and I admitted to that. I admitted to.
First of all, Steven Seagal can't be worse. You can't use those two things in the same sentence. Steven Seagal is the bomb.com.
It's just, I love this movie for the one-liners. It's not that bad. Face Off.
Oh, Face Off was good. Well, Face Off was interesting. It was interesting. But I liked it. I like it. I mean, there was, it's always fun when what's his name? The other guy.
Rory Mason is hot. Nicolas Cage.
Yes, when he overacts. I think he's hilarious when he overacts.
Yeah, and it happens a lot in that movie. Acting Actually, though, I kind of liked it. Like Huxley and I watched it, and he was like, he was laughing through it too. Of course, there's some really cheesy. I need to pull out Roadhouse for him.
Oh, yeah, there might be. He's 15?
14.
14. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple scenes that maybe not, but otherwise probably good.
Really? Are they sex scenes?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I didn't know that was in Roadhouse because there's none of that in Face Off.
No, Face Off's got no. Well, yeah, nothing really. Yeah.
No, not really.
No.
But it's pretty classically cheesy.
It's so
pretty,
good.
It's pretty great. Yeah, John Travolta's extra cheese in that.
Yes, he is. Yeah, he does go overboard on that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna load. We're not gonna pull this up till later, but I'm gonna load it up for you, so it's there.
Yeah. Do you want to show it to us?
Not yet.
Oh, really?
Save it for the end.
Oh, you're kind of mean like that. What? You do that in your lives. Like you save stuff till the end. I just let it all out.
Well, no, just because it's gonna distract from the whole conversation. It'll be all about that. Yeah.
Okay. See, guys, he logically, I don't do that. I just let it all go. Hey, Christy Smith.
Okay, now I am fully back. Okay. Here we go.
All right, so I'm going to go to some of these starred. God, we have a lot of people in this chat. I appreciate that, you guys.
Thank you, everyone, for joining, by the way.
That is so nice.
Well, how about this? If you don't have any particular questions, but I'm sure you're going to have follow-up questions, Reese.
No, I do have particular questions.
Why don't you pull up the chat ones that are questions that you're interested in knowing, and we'll just go from there. I
will, but I also have questions. It's not like I don't have any. I just don't have a list like the chat does.
Okay.
So, but no, I want to know things. I kind of think what happens is you and I start talking, and then my questions, I'm like, oh, and we go down a rabbit hole. I just don't know you well enough yet to.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Armina wanted me to tell you this. Tell Sterling Huxley he's been dying to start a sport YouTube channel. He wants to start a channel and just talk about sports.
He should, and it's so easy. He can even use your setup somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, he has a computer and we have a mic. So yeah, he has a computer in his room.
He just needs a good backdrop. That's all. Good backdrop. Yeah.
I'll have to think about that part. Blakey, hey Blakey, we love you.
Yes,
so I was going to, let's see, your live with Sterling with Huxley actually made my heart grow like the Grinches did. I know it, Barbara. It was incredible.
That was
Thanks
really
for your super chat, babe.
All of you that bought gifts for him and participated, that was really cool.
It was over the top. I'm just still blown away by it. Reese's father was more interested in how his children looked for Scientology rather than being a protector for them. Yes, very much so.
Yeah,
I think that's
I would
true.
agree with that.
And then Heather wants to know, are you two writing your own books? You said no, correct?
Yeah, but I tend to say no to things instantly and then possibly follow up with them. But honestly, I would say no on that one. That takes a lot of work to write a book. I don't know that I could do that. My sister, however, wrote a book, which was pretty good.
She did. Someone sent it to me.
If you haven't heard of that book, it's got the longest title ever, so I never remember it. But just look up Jenna Miscavige Hill and you'll find the book. It's actually very interesting. Yeah, very interesting book. Yeah.
I've heard it's a really good book. I haven't read it. Brandon, Scientology question. Can a Scientologist, public staff, Sea Org go into military service? Sterling, you can answer that one.
I don't believe they can. And well, definitely Sea Org, no. Scientology staff, no. Public could have served in the military or could even be in the military, but Scientology and specifically L. Ron Hubbard were very concerned about anyone in the military because he strongly believed that in the military, there was a large amount of brainwashing that would happen, and that person would then maybe be a spy into Scientology. He was very paranoid about that. So anyone that serves in the military has any sort of security clearance is a big red flag for Scientology. So the answer really is no.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Katie, Mom, just know I don't ever have anything to talk about either, and it seems to work for me. So give it a try.
Yes.
Let's see. So Sterling, question. Clenna says, Sterling, was it assumed that you would eventually join the Sea Org? Well, I would think so because he was in the Sea Org.
But funny enough, it wasn't ever pushed on me by my parents. They never said.
Wait a minute. How would that work? If you were born into it and you were in the cadet org and would you just get out of the cadet org and go be a public?
Yeah.
Really? I thought you would be forced. Like, you're already here, kid. You're going into the sewer. There's no, you don't get the, like, I wouldn't even think you'd get the option.
Yeah, but if you grow up in it, you really don't think there's another option. But in the back of my mind, I sometimes used to think, because I have my father's family. My father has 3 wonderful sisters, Penny and Prue and Pam, and I was very close with 2 of them, and they lived in Orange County. So the thought crossed my mind every once in a while to go live with my cousins down in Orange County and play baseball. So
interesting.
that's a unique situation. Yeah.
I didn't even think actually never thought of that. Being born into it, I assumed there was just no choice there.
Yeah, and maybe not for some people, but also you wouldn't think of doing something else kind of in the long run. But it was actually an injury that got me to finally kind of join the Sea Org, because I couldn't play baseball that next season in Little League. And so I was like, okay, well, I might as well join the Sea Org. I kind of felt it was meant to be, sort of, which was really stupid. But is what it was. So.
No, I can see your way of thinking. I don't think it's stupid. Ariana Rose, there is not still a cadet org. No. Daria has a question. Can you talk about the issues you are carrying with emotional intimacy, and what one of them are you working on, and how you are approaching to nurture and heal? Okay, that's up to you.
Oh, this is for me. Emotional intimacy. I would be the first person to tell you I don't think I have any issues with that, but I might not even notice that I do. So I wouldn't go emotional intimacy. What I do have related to that subject is, I was in a really bad marriage from 1996 until 2004. Really, really bad. But I don't blame my ex-wife for that, and I don't think she blames me for that. It was an impossible situation. We were working late hours. We had no time off, constant pressure. Either one of us was in trouble almost all the time. And even during some really tough times, when my actual ex-wife was told by Shelley Miscavige to divorce me, she did not. And this was Shelley Miscavige's sister, half sister, my ex-wife. So there's maybe a built-in fear of being hurt again, or not wanting something super long-term because it was not in any way pleasant for me. And that could be subliminal, because it's not something that I think about constantly, but it might have a lot to do with how picky I am about the person I choose to be with. So that would be the only intimacy thing that I could think of. And I did see a therapist regards to this subject for a while. Actually, she was a complete sweetheart, very nice. Fortunately, she moved out of Los Angeles. It's too expensive to live here. And so I didn't get to finish all of that, but that would be, hopefully that answers your question. I'm not going to delve too deep into it, but that would be my answer for your question.
Well, I have a question. How old were you when you got married?
I was 19. She was 17.
Okay.
So we actually got married 3 times in 2 days. I got married in Vegas on the Friday afternoon, got married at Golden Era Productions on Friday night, drove down to LA, and got married at Celebrity Center the next morning. So 3 weddings.
God.
And yeah, that was a lot. And actually, I have a picture. I might as well pull it up now, huh, Reese? What we're at here.
I would like to see it, but it's up to you when you want to share it.
I'm going to add to the stage. Here we go. So guys, what's one of the great things about doing channels, talking to Reese, talking to Aaron, talking to anyone, Janice and Mark, is that people come out of the woodworks and contact you, people that you may not have spoken to for 20 years. Because remember, when you get out, your first thought is survival. It's not, let me go find everybody. You're going to try to find the people that are closest to you, the ones that you could relate to the most. So I was sent just today this picture. Now, I have a series of these pictures, but none of them was Shelley Miscavige, because those were taken away from me, because no one wanted me to have a picture of Shelley Miscavige. So just today, I was sent a picture that someone else had, another family member had, that has Shelley Miscavige and her family, and a picture of me with my wife at the time. So we'll pop it up here, guys, and I'll maybe explain it a little bit. I don't usually pop up photos and explain them, so we'll see how this goes. There we go.
Oh my God, you were so cute. This is not what I expected at all. I thought you were not going to be cute.
No, I was
really cute.
I was Mr. Part my hair in one direction.
He looks the same.
A little bit. Okay. So obviously I'm the one in the top. It's Suzette's would be on my left, camera right. The lady in the pink suit right next to Suzette is Shelley Miscavige.
Yeah, I like it. I like her
Right?
hair.
Yeah. She looks really good. And then that is Shelley's sister, Camille, in the green dress right next to Shelley.
Okay.
And if you go directly across from Camille, that is Barney Barnett. That is Shelley Miscavige's father. And actually, what I did not know later on is that Mark Headley employed Barney Barnett when he left the Sea Organization, which is sort of crazy when you think about it.
That is
crazy.
crazy.
But he actually worked for Mark Headley. And then right below me, wearing the white pants and the white top, is Clarice Brosseau. Clarice Barnett used to be married to John Brosseau, and that is Shelley's sister as well. Also
okay, I was going to say that has to be her sister. They look like twins.
Oh yeah, right. And so that she worked on the ship with Janice. Grady worked with L. Ron Hubbard. So Shelley and Clarice are the ones that worked in the Sea Organization. Camille, I don't believe she was in the Sea Organization, and if she was, it was for a very short amount of time.
Everybody's asking if you can zoom in. I don't know. Can you?
I don't know if you can. I wish we could.
I love her pink suit. That's cool.
Yeah, she was a good dresser. I don't know if we can, guys. What we could do is this. Oh, here. I'm gonna pop you out real fast and see if this works, Reese. There we go. Well, that zoomed in a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a great picture.
Yeah, it's a really good picture. And like I said, I have a series of these, but with my family. None with Suzette's family. This is the only one we have with Suzette's family.
And that was your wife's name?
Yes. Yeah, there we go. Didn't really make it that
How
much bigger.
interesting. What? Yeah, right? That is really interesting. I love that picture. You're super cute in it. You look really happy.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy, or I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, you were 19.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what? My whole family was there on my dad's side. So I was super excited about that. And my whole family on my mom's side was there. To be clear, my dad's side, Foster, my mom's side, Biddy. Her whole family.
Okay.
Because they mostly lived in Los Angeles area. So I was excited. Maybe I was just excited to see everybody. Anyways, it was a day. It was a day for sure. Yeah. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I kind of have some questions about this.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not going to overstep on anything. Don't worry. But I want to know. So how many years were you married?
To 1996, 8 years.
That's a long time.
It is a long time.
And you never got remarried?
No.
And without, again, overstepping, is she, I can't remember, and I think you've answered this, is she still in the Sea Org? You can just say yes or no. You don't have to give me her whereabouts. I just wanted to know that.
No, she's not. She left. And it's a story I'm going to cover at some point. Because I'm trying to specifically get parts of my life while I was there to talk about in a shorter 30-minute format. So I will eventually tell the story about her and things that happened to both of us when we were there, and how Scientology handled that. So that there's no question.
It's a very personal story. I hope you share that sometime.
I will, and I'll share this part, Reese, because I feel you're a person that would appreciate, or I could share this with. But one of the things that happened, and I won't give you the whole preamble, but when I left, there had been an incident of infidelity, and not on my part. And I was a little hurt over that. And I then left. I was leaving the Sea Organization. What I did not know was that she was leaving at the same time. They just didn't let me know. She actually left the Sea Org within a couple months of when I did, but still, I had no clue of knowing that she left, and I wanted closure on some things. And Scientology's so evil that they wouldn't even, they knew I wanted closure on that, but they wouldn't do anything or let me know that she was out.
That's so horrible, I could at least
Sterling. Have a conversation and settle it and go our separate ways or whatever that may have been. They wouldn't even let me have that satisfaction.
Yeah, that's terrible. I'm sorry. That's absolutely horrible.
They're not good people. They really don't care.
So I have another question. And again, just yes or no me on this. I don't need details. So do you know her whereabouts now?
I do not.
You don't? Okay.
No, I don't keep track of her. For what it's worth, it wasn't a great experience for me. that mostly, I talk a lot about how it's not just Scientology's fault. People are the way they are. In this particular case, I don't think we had a chance from the get-go. There was no way in the environment we were in that it was going to work out. Sure. That being said, she did a lot of things that weren't great. I did some things that weren't great. Just didn't work out in the end.
Sure, I understand.
But our separation was another thing that started me in the direction of leaving. When Dave Miscavige asked me, am I sorry? And I responded, no, I'm not. One of the things going through my mind was, well, my marriage was ruined by you guys. Why am I apologizing to you for this? So that was one of the things going through my mind. So, in the end, happy story, I hope, for her, happy story for me. But it is what it is. It's just more evidence that relationships inside this organization are nearly impossible. So you got to give props to the people that get out, the Mark and Claire's, and anyone that gets out and maintains a relationship. I think that's a beautiful thing, because they have a lot of trauma to share, and it's good that they have someone that they can bounce things off of.
Totally.
I personally choose, believe it or not, I have a preference not to see or date someone that I shared that experience with. I'd rather have someone that has never been in Scientology.
Oh, and yeah, I can see that.
I can't tell you the logical reasoning behind that. That's just how I feel about it. So,
although I have to be honest, I kind of see that, but I also see the opposite of that. Because being married now to somebody who knows nothing about it, sometimes I do, like, for instance, Jeff knew Fred, my husband that died. That's comforting to me because we can talk about it, and I'm not having to explain about Fred and how he was and who he was. He knows. So it's kind of similar to, hey, Kev, it's similar to Scientology. Like, it almost seems like it would help to have someone who's been out, and you can bounce those things off of each other. They know the experience. It's kind of a comfort thing for me that you can latch onto, like, you get where I'm coming from. You understand. My first husband, Michael, I mean, and he's sort of my friend now, but he's more closed off. At least I feel like I have that with him. Hey, Brisby Tales, where I can share things and he knows what I'm talking about. It kind of does help. So you're the opposite, is what you're saying. You would not want to have someone that knows anything about it.
Right. And that doesn't mean I wouldn't talk to him about it, but realize that sounding board for me is my twin brother, Justin, is my mom, Biddy, is my close circle of friends.
That's true. You've got family that's true. See, I don't.
So they're kind of the thing, because even like, what am I going to do? Try to, even if it's a Scientologist that grew up in the LA area, they're still not going to be able to relate to my story at Golden Era Productions or the base. And I don't want to, if I'm going to pick from that group, the pickings get very, very, very slim quickly. So no, I wanted to compartmentalize that part of my life, sort of.
Sure. That makes
total
sense.
I do have the sounding boards, like.
You do. You're very lucky. I didn't think about that. And that makes total sense to me. I think that's actually smart on your part, because you already have the support. You don't really want, and if you think about it, if you do date somebody or end up with somebody who had that past as well, that's a lot of baggage. That's a lot. Now, the person that you end up with who maybe had nothing to do with Scientology could have all kinds of baggage from something else too. We all have that. Yeah. But I could see the fresh start thing, like not wanting to have someone that's had that experience. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Just about.
So you don't have to preface any of your questions with Reese. I appreciate all your questions, just so you know. So don't worry about that.
I know, but I'm trying to be respectful.
But
yeah, I know. I kind of know you enough by now. Like, I don't want to overstep. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to.
I appreciate.
That's why I think I'm saying I'm approaching it by saying, is it okay if I ask you this? Because I really don't want to be disrespectful and go over the line with you.
I don't think you could be, but I appreciate the thought. I really do.
I don't have boundaries, so it's hard for me to try to set them. So I'm trying very hard here.
No problem. No problem.
I don't know. I don't know how I want to put this question, but like, so you're 47 now, or did you just turn 48? You just turned 47, right?
I just turned 47.
Okay. Yeah, I think you did too. So at this age, you've been divorced for a long time. And thank you, Daria. How do you has that shaped who you are and how you feel as far as who you want to be in a relationship? Like, has that shaped how you feel about marriage? Or
Yes.
are you separating the two, going, that was totally not a fair shot at marriage. That was not a real marriage. And I'm not going to muddy the waters with that into something new. Or do you just go, no, like that's shaped how I feel about that now?
It's a fantastic question, Reese. I am not a fan, and this is funny because Justin and I share this in common, my twin brother, not a fan of the whole proposition of marriage in itself, and that the government has to sign off on marriage, etc. I don't believe that needs to be in place for love, true love, a relationship to last for a long time. And that could partially be unacknowledged, but could partially be because of my experience with marriage inside Scientology. But when I left, I never went, oh God, I got to get married again. I would really like to get married. I need to get married. Someone asked this question to me the other day on one of my lives. Do I feel like I'm catching up in life with everything I missed? And I think that would absolutely be a yes. I do feel like I'm just going balls to the walls, to just have as much a good time and live a free life as possible. I stay away from drama as much as possible. I don't like bad or negative news. I do not like, obviously I have my quirks where, well, if I'm upset, I will talk to someone about another person I'm upset with, but sure. I don't tend to gravitate towards that. I would much rather be hanging out with friends, having a drink, playing a sport somewhere. Or this morning I went and played catch with some friends of mine at the park. And it's just, I want to fill my time with that, something productive, listen to some good music. There's a lovely, lovely lady in the UK who's been sending me some really good music, and I appreciate that. So we've been sharing that back and forth.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
It's pretty nice. And so it probably does. I think it has more of an effect than I would personally know sometimes. And, it's tricky. I'm 47. I've dated quite a few 35-year-olds and someone, a female at 35 who's not married yet, in my opinion, wants to nail something down quicker, rather sooner than later. And so when I get asked the "am I want to get married" question on a first or second date, I have to beat around the bush a little bit on that, because I don't want to have that talk right then. I'd rather get to know the person more and really see if there's a relationship before I get cut out because, well, he's not interested in marriage. So it's a funny little game you have to play with that. That's interesting,
It is. And that's fair. I think I was 35 when I started dating Jeff, and he would have been 60. And I remember I didn't want to ask that question right away, but I waited until about 6 weeks in. And I was like, do you think that you'll get married again? And he was like, absolutely not. He had been married 36 years.
Oh, wow.
And he was like, absolutely not. No. And I was like, okay, yeah, that kind of killed it for me, because I'm still young. And I was like, I have a young kid, and I haven't given up on marriage. My husband died. So, I really want to. And I think I dumped him a couple of times.
Oh, really? Before it made it happen?
Yeah. I was like, I'm just not into this, and I'm not into being somebody's girlfriend, forever. Yeah. So I totally get that. But then Jeff would tell you now, it was fine. I didn't pressure him, but I was like, yeah, I don't have the same I don't hate marriage like you did. Yours wasn't great. I get it. But he will often say that to me now. He's like, it took me a couple of years to decide on it, but he was like, I definitely wanted to marry you at that point. Like I made up my own mind about it. So what I guess I'm saying is, you don't want to totally close the door. I wouldn't think.
Right.
Like you might meet the right person where you're like, this makes sense to me. But I also see what you say. Like I've told you, I don't think I'll ever get married again. I get the government part of it, and just like having to have paperwork involved. Like, why can't you just be, especially if you're not going to have kids, which you may or may not, right? You don't know.
Don't know. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I wondered if that kind of shaped how you felt about marriage.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Sterling, you do understand, I know you do, like that wasn't a fair shot at marriage.
No, it was not. No.
Let me ask you this. If you had married that same person, Suzette, not being in the Sea Org, do you think it would have worked? Or were you guys just not compatible?
Another really good question. A really good question. I don't know. I really
like, were you guys
don't.
crazy about each other? Like most newly married couples are just like crazy in love. Can you think of a
We
time?
were in the beginning. We definitely were. But she wasn't my first choice, so I don't know. I had actually liked another girl before her, and that girl had actually introduced me to Suzette. And because of some Sea Org restrictions at the time, that first girl could not date me because she was a trainee at Gold and was supposed to go back to the ship. And that was
you
the
can't
girl I
date
really
trainees.
liked. Yeah. So it was an interesting thing. And let's not forget that in the Sea organization, not in Scientology, but in the Sea organization, you cannot have sex before marriage. So
In the
there's a
Sea
little
Org,
bit of
that
a
is
rush.
correct.
There's a little bit of a rush as well to find somebody, especially when you're 19.
Did you guys break that rule?
No. Dave wanted to know if we did so many times, but no, we did
Yeah.
not. No,
Yeah. I think it's hard to break that rule, actually.
Oh, the pressure on you is so immense. Like you would be scared if you brushed side boob. It was crazy. I've spoken about that, about even the experience at the ranch. I mean, a lot of stuff apparently did happen at the ranch, unbeknownst to me. But like I just remember like, no, like we wouldn't go there. But then some people figure out if you went there, you could get a free ticket out too. So it just depends on how you looked at it back then. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I was more of a rule follower for sure.
Yeah. Interesting. That's just,
right?
I know I should be asking you more questions about your family, but honestly, this is like enough for me to just go, wow. Like, see, that's really interesting. And it makes me a little sad, to be honest. Like, I think you were such a wonderful guy. And I talk about this on my lives when you come up and you're not there. Like, people will be like, I wish Sterling would, I wish he had a girlfriend. And I'm like, I kind of don't, because I want him to want what he wants.
Right.
Like, that doesn't equal happiness, by the way, guys. People can be much happier being alone or like taking their time like Sterling does, which everybody knows that. But I do hope though that like you find somebody and it's just like the right and it clicks. And like, do you actively, and I know you don't like to talk about this, so I'm trying to be careful about it, but like, do you actively try to date? Like, do you have
I do.
You ask people out? Like when you like somebody, do you just take
absolutely
a chance on that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm a master at getting numbers and horrible at closing. So it's and I make a joke really about that. But I even recently, I had I saw someone in the comments mention dating in LA is brutal. Really is. I mean,
Why?
I don't know why, and I'm
Everybody's
not
so
mind you, I haven't
attractive.
dated in a whole lot of places, but when I travel to Florida, it's, I gotta say, Florida, I'm not just saying Florida just happens to be that's where I'm traveling to, but I don't know, the women there are just so more easygoing and easy to talk to, and less about themselves to some degree. And so it's just more natural and easy to flow there, and people are more outgoing. LA is a tough area. That being said, I'm just outside LA County officially. And, so I tend to not date towards the center of LA, really. I stay on the outskirts. But it's something that's going to happen naturally. I've done the dating app thing. That is fun. And I met some really cool people. Some of them I'm still friends with. I've met people at bars, classy restaurants, wherever it may be. Sometimes, I'm with a group, sometimes I'm with my brother. So it really all has to happen in the moment, and it has to lend itself to naturally to being that. I'm not aggressive by any means. So yeah, I mean, I hope
you don't have a problem being like, hey, can I get your number?
No, not at all. Okay. No, if I like the person and they're gelling, and there's obviously some sort of conversation that's going on, and I think she's interested, no, I have no problem asking for the number. I think that's the easiest part.
I do too. I think honestly, I'm more comfortable in my own skin now than I've ever been. I'm not like shy about anything. So I think if I were dating, do you have women ask you? I would totally have no problem being like, can we go out sometime? But maybe that's bad, because then what if the guy says no? I do have a problem with rejection, so maybe I wouldn't do that.
Oh, and that's the tough part, right? I mean, that's the tough part. What if you meet someone and you really like them, and then all of a sudden you get like, ghosted on the next day?
You're ugly.
It's not easy. And I got a lot of competition in LA. You know what I mean? There's a lot. But again, kind of to summarize it, it's at one point I put a lot of pressure on myself about it, and I realized that's not going to help me. It's a matter of just letting it flow. It'll happen. What'll happen. I think I'll find the right person that's going to be perfect for me. And they don't have to necessarily be into sports. They don't have to be, I think people get the idea that I'm playing sports all the time. No, I'm just as happy to listen to music, to go sit at a wine place and read a book as I am to be on the volleyball court. It's just how I mix things up. I've also got quite a few friends, female friends that I'm close to that, who knows, maybe in the future. Right now we're friends, type deal. So it's just
true. That can always work out. That's sometimes can be a really good thing. Someone that you've known a long time, and then it just turns into something organically.
Exactly.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I just like that you're not in a rush, and you seem to be very confident about it. And I really admire that. I think that's, sometimes I feel like women, but I don't want to speak for women because I don't have a lot of female friends. I just feel like sometimes there is a little bit of a rush to years can go by and people start to feel defeated. Like, when am I going to find him? And, loneliness is a real bad thing. It can be hard. So
yeah,
and I also think it helps.
I have a good group of
always
friends.
busy. Yeah, and you love your job. You have a good group of friends.
And I
stay very busy.
Yeah, I work a lot. Like, really, it's hard to. I know people are like, oh no, I really do work a lot. I have missed 2 days of work in 7 years. I don't miss work. I'm on my schedule all the time. I'm always there. I travel a lot for my work, so it keeps me. That's so good. So it keeps me busy. And sometimes I'll forget that I got to do that. I got to talk to someone. But hey, sometimes I'm romantic by nature. So sometimes I'm like, what if I'm on this trip one day and I'm sitting on an airplane and I meet the right person?
Yes.
It's going to happen. I've realized a lot of things after leaving Scientology. One of the things is, you got to get over thinking everything's personal. You got to realize that generally people are pretty nice, and not everyone's out to hurt you, and that things are going to happen. It took a while for me to calm myself down. And the person that's talking to you right now, Reese, the person that's calm and can slow their tone and their voice down, is something I had to practice to be, because I'm by nature genuinely high strung. And I had to work.
I think we all are as Scientologists.
Very high strung. And it doesn't mean I can still go off. I absolutely can. There's moments where I'm like, maybe I go off, but I'm just getting better at slowing, breathing. Guys, it's so funny that you'd have to be told that breathing helps, but it really, in a moment where you're about to make a rash decision, stop, take a few deep breaths, and you'd be surprised what that does to your nervous system.
Yeah. Reel yourself back in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And again, they don't teach you that in Scientology. No. And that's a basic human body function. The breathing and getting oxygen to every part of your body is vital. So I hope I answered everyone's questions. I'm not even looking at the chat. So I haven't seen anything, which I normally like to, but the way I set up my screens, I can't. So I don't know if this was a brilliant idea. What they need to do? They need to have the chat so you could take it as a separate bar and move it places.
But I think it's good the way it is tonight, because this is kind of about Sterling tonight, and there's things I wanted to know. So I don't want you to be distracted with the chat. I'm keeping a watch on it, but I'm just hopeful for you. And what's weird for me? I'm kind of the opposite. I click with everybody.
Right.
I don't know if that's a good thing. Like, I meet women that I just love all the time, but I also feel like every time I have a conversation with a lot of different men, I'm like, I could see myself with that. Like, I click with people all the time.
Yeah.
I get the vibes, the 2D flows. Yeah. And I'm a flirt. Like, I flirt a lot with men, and I don't know. I just kind of feel like, dang, how would I be as like a single person?
Right.
But I could be like Tampa B man, and I kind of do feel that way. I was driving with Jeff today, and like, we haven't talked in a while. We're just not on the same page right now. I don't know. And my therapist asked me, he was like, would you be willing to live in your own house and like you guys stay married? And I was like, hell yes, I would, if we were millionaires. Like, who can do that, to like have two separate lives?
Right.
And so I brought it up to Jeff today, and I was like, do you know how expensive that would be for you? You'd have to buy me a house. You'd have to get yourself a girlfriend and still pay for me. Like, how does that work? And he was like, why would we do that? We get along great. And I was like, okay, I haven't talked to you since October, but
yeah,
I guess. But I do click with I click with everybody. I really do. I wonder what I would be like out in the wild.
You seem like a person that everyone can talk to. And
or I
like
force myself on people to talk.
Yeah, I consider myself outgoing, but I think you take that to another level in such a good way. I will, I'm funny when I go to a party and I'm being introduced or having to introduce myself to people, and there's friends or someone I know that already, I will go right to that friend and ignore everyone else in the beginning.
Yeah, I mingle with everybody.
Yeah,
and if I see somebody, like
eventually.
even now as a married person, if I see like a cute guy, I'm like, hello, hi there. Now I wouldn't do that if like his wife was standing there. A free,
Right.
Yeah, I like that Brisby Tales.
Free range Reese. Better than a caged Reese, that's for sure.
I just don't know. I wonder what it would be like for me out in the real world, because I feel like I'd probably love dating like tons of different guys. I've never done that before.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to just like get around.
I think the other day Mark joked on a live with Claire that he was on Tinder for one day and then he got the call from her and so he had to erase his profile. I don't know if he was having fun or if that was actually true, but it cracked me up and I'm like, hey, you know what? You lucked out, Mark, that Claire came out. You really did. You don't wanted to try the dating world. It can be brutal. And again, I have a lot of really funny stories about it. I've told one or two of them, but it can be. It is a.
See, it sounds like so much fun to me.
Oh, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes yes, sometimes I also want to. I play a lot of beach volleyball, and I thought meeting someone on the beach would be really fun, but that doesn't always work out that way. It's gonna happen. So I don't put a whole lot of things on it. So yeah.
I was shopping on Aviator Nation. I was getting something from Aviator Nation the other day, and I was looking, and there was, their models, and there was a model, and she actually was wearing, this just zips to here, but she was wearing one of their zip up, full zip hoodies, and then just like this tiny little bikini bottom with it, and she had this big flowy mermaid hair, and I was like, and it was like half zipped, her tiny boobs were kind of trying to hang out, and I was like, that's Sterling's girl. Like that's what I imagine Sterling having, like this really cute beach babe. But she'd have to be real. She'd have to be real.
I dated a skater girl and she was awesome. She was so lovely and cute. She wore checkered Vans, which I have a thing for.
Oh, cute,
and,
cute.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
cute.
She was really sweet.
Okay, that's cute. Well, I just feel like guys, Sterling is in such a good place. Like I admire so much where you are. And the other thing, like we compared about, like you really, one thing about you that you are so, and I don't ever use this word, but I'm going to use it, blessed, is that you've always had that support, I feel, with the family. Like you said, your parents loved you. I mean, it's not like you were lucky by any means, but I just feel like now even, you just have a good, strong kind of safety net there.
Yeah, I mean, I had my parents when I was in Foster and Barbara, and it just so happens when I left, Biddy was out, and so I had my support from my biological mom. Now, if I didn't have that, it would have been a lot harder. So I was blessed to have that support from her. Arguably, support from my brother Justin. I don't know if that was he was a little tough, rough around the edges when I first left. He wasn't as helpful as you thought he would be, but nowadays. After building our relationship back up, we definitely both can bounce off each other, talk about it, problems with each other and stuff. And
I like that. Can I ask, is your brother single?
My brother Justin.
Yeah.
No, he has a girlfriend right now.
Oh, he does? Good for him. I didn't know if like you guys double dated or like tried to go find girlfriend.
He's the one that puts pressure on me. He's like, you need to find a girl so we can go on a double date. And I said, Justin, yes, if I find a girl, I'm not going on a double date with you.
Yeah, that's not happening. I get that. Can I ask just your dad? What's your dad's name?
Foster.
Foster. That's such a cool name. Is his son also Justin?
Yes, but they don't consider either one. Like they don't like each other at all.
Oh.
Because Foster didn't raise Justin.
Right. Now, I knew that. Okay.
Yeah,
yes.
But Justin tolerated and liked Foster. I mean, Justin liked Foster, didn't consider him a father until when I was leaving the Sea Org and they declared me a suppressive person for going to a baseball game. and they sent me to Atlanta to live with a Scientology family that had also been declared. Foster contacted Justin. They met up at a Starbucks somewhere in Sunset, and Foster told Justin, hey, just want to let you know your brother Sterling has been declared, so we're not going to talk to him. You shouldn't talk to him either. Justin lost his shit and started yelling at Foster, saying, are you serious? Are you telling me not to talk to your own son and my brother? Are you crazy? How could you possibly believe that he's a bad person? You raised him. What's wrong with you? And so ever since that point in time, Justin does not like Foster for doing that. And I understand from his point of view. I understand why he would be that way.
Totally.
If Biddy had tried to do that, and she never would, but if Biddy had tried to do that with Justin in the reverse scenario, I'd be pretty pissed at Biddy too.
Is Justin declared?
I don't know if he's officially declared. I don't really think Justin's more of a Miscavige. There's Jenna, who's the actual niece of David Miscavige. Then there's Justin, who was raised by a Miscavige. Then there's me, who by marriage in two different ways was related to David Miscavige. I was married to his sister-in-law, and his brother was married to my mom. So I was his nephew and his brother-in-law. Weird shit.
Right. But that is weird.
Yeah. But it somehow worked out that way. So, yeah. But, I was never really, to be honest, I was never really, really close to Dave. There was maybe 2 or 3 years where there was a little bit of a relationship in gift giving and stuff like that. But that went by the wayside pretty quickly.
Were you close to Shelley?
More tyrannical. I was much closer to Shelley. Much closer to Shelley.
Was she a nice gal?
To me, very. She was also very nice to my brother Justin. Yeah.
Interesting. And what about her sisters in that picture? Were you close to them?
I was. CB, her sister, was one of my closest friends. I loved her to death. She was a very nice person.
Is she still troubled, there, I assume?
Abused for sure. Maybe even an abuser at one point, but she was genuinely a kind-hearted person. Camille, the other sister, who I believe wasn't in the Sea Org, or maybe if she was only in for a little bit, also a very sweet, kind-hearted person. I mean, look, their dad, Barney, was just a nice, happy-go-lucky guy. He was actually a really nice guy, Barney. So I think that rubbed off on them a little bit. Shelley maybe being the most quirky of them. I think I'm going to be talking a little bit with in the future with my mom Biddy about that, and with Mitch, Mitch spent more time with Dave than myself, Justin, Jenna, and my mom Biddy combined. And so we're going to talk some more about that family dynamic, that relation, and different things like that, because I think Mitch has a good insight into it. Of the people that are out and speaking right now, the people that spent the most time with Dave Miscavige would be, and I'm guessing the order of this, but would be Mark Fisher, Mitch Brisker, Mike Rinder, and maybe Biddy. I'm just taking a wild guess at that one, but all of them from a different perspective. So if you want to get insight into David Miscavige, you need to listen to those 3-4 people, because they have the biggest insight. And then I think Claire does too. She worked with him for a while, and I didn't mean to leave her off the list. That was unintentional. But, she also worked in internal affairs for RTC. So she has some experiential track with him. Those are kind of really the people that have stuff. Jenna's got great stories about being his niece. Justin and I have some tidbit stories about our interactions with him. But Justin, he's always been bullheaded. So even Dave Miscavige used to send a list down of what gifts you possibly want, and Justin sent him back a list for like a Lamborghini Countach or something like that, just to be a dick. I think you would listen in order, right? So your priority gift, and the next one, was an NFL football, which was about $65 at the time, like an official one, Wilson, and so that's what Justin got, was the NFL football.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, my brother's hilarious. Like that. Yeah.
That would be fun if you guys did a live, but it would also be cool to have. And you said you might do this something with your mom. That would be cool.
Yeah, I'm actually going to do possibly on Thursday. I might just set up a live while I'm prepping dinner with my mom.
That would be cool,
just for the fun of it. Yeah, so they can see us together in the same room.
Do you guys live in the same town?
No, she lives about 2.5 hours away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, might as well be a universe away. But yes.
Yeah.
I don't like. Another thing about me, I don't like driving for long distances. Yeah, like if I'm going to go somewhere and it's 2 hours drive, 2.5 hours, I'm going to be there for 2 days. Otherwise, I'm not going. I don't like doing that in one day. It's just a preference I have.
So long distances is 2.5, because like from here to Omaha, where I'm from, is about close to 2:45, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I will do that. But I'm the
Mm.
same as you. Like anything over 3 hours, I'm like, no, I'm
Yeah,
not
maybe
into
not.
that.
Yeah.
Like I want to fly. Yeah. A lot of
I'm
people
like
like
that.
road trips. I'm not like that. I would rather fly.
But hey, well, here's a problem too. Thanks. I blame Aaron for this. Because of Aaron, I don't have any really long form content to listen to on my drive down. So I'm going to switch over to an audiobook.
That works. Can I ask you, I don't know how much more time you have, but can I ask you something else?
Sure, go for it. I mean, let's see if we can shoot for the hour 30-minute mark, and then we'll answer some questions.
Get some questions, yeah, because there's probably quite a few. Yeah. And I don't want to go too far into this because I know it's touchy, and it's touchy when people ask me certain things about my dad too. But about Foster, you're 47, so do you know how old he is?
He was born in 52, I believe. And boy, I'm going to get a text from one of my aunts.
Oh, so your dad is younger than my dad. My dad was born in 49.
Yeah. I should know this.
So he's in his 70s.
He's in his 70s. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Would you know, like for me, now that I'm declared, I would have always been told by my in-laws, like, did you hear your dad passed away or something like that? I will never know now. No one will ever let me know. Would that be the case if something happened to Foster? Like, would you know?
Yeah, that's one of my biggest fears, honestly, is that the church is evil enough to, and the Karen de la Carrere story, exemplified, and that was her son. They would go out of their way, potentially, just like with Mike Brown, they weren't going to tell him either, that a family member is possibly going to pass away. And look, in the Sea Org, you can be yelled at, you could be abused and hit and all stuff, but I don't think any of that's as bad as this sort of thing. This is really, really terrible type abuse, splitting up families because one person's watching a show they shouldn't. All these sort of things I think are some of the worst things they do. But here's why I'm lucky. And when Mike Brown told his story, there was a little bit of relief that hit me, because I know for a fact that my lovely aunts, Penny, Prue, and Pam, Foster's 3 sisters, would contact me in a heartbeat to let me know if something had happened.
They would.
They absolutely would.
Are they in the Sea Org?
They're never in Scientology, never in the Sea Org.
Oh, but wait, how would they know?
They will have to let them know, because if they didn't, that's a big problem for them PR wise. So I always at least have the joy of knowing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
That they will inform them?
Yep. They'll find out.
Okay.
They'll find out.
Or like, I was even going to ask, not pass away, but what if he was in really bad health? Would you know?
I don't know if I would know about that, but I think they would know. And like, let's say Foster misses one of their birthdays or doesn't send them something on a certain time. That's a red flag for them. They'll call me and they'll let me know that too. So they're really spectacular. I mean, again, for those of you that have left Scientology in the Sea Org that don't have family, I feel for you. That really, really sucks. I am just lucky that I have some of these family members that have always been a part of my life. But at the same time, I take the time to stay in contact with them, talk to them and stuff like that more than my siblings do. I'm in, like, Justin's not in contact. Nathan doesn't really, my little brother doesn't really talk to them as much as I do. And that's just a difference in personalities. But Nathan was very young when he knew them. I knew them when I was a little bit older, so I have a lot of fond memories of them. But they are definitely all of the family members from Biddy's side, from Foster's side, from Barbara's side, have always been good family and been in contact and done what they could to help us out, knowing that we were in a less than fortunate position. Yeah.
Okay. Now I have a question, just because I wonder this about my own father, and this may be overstepping. And if it is, please just tell me. I don't want to be disrespectful here. somebody asked me this the other day, and it's I could answer this with 100% certainty. When my own dad thinks of me,
yeah,
his immediate thought would be regret that he had me. And his immediate thought after that would be, I told you she was a 2.5% SP. I told you she was evil. I knew it from the start. My dad hated me. So there is no like, I really miss her or anything like that.
Right, right.
When your dad, because you were declared, is he, I don't know, is he such a diehard that like when he thinks of you, does he think that suppressive person, or does he have fond memories, you think, and like miss you? And because see, your dad loved you, like you have fond
Yeah.
memories. So like, do you think that he thinks like, I really miss my son? Or do you think he's like so brainwashed that he's like, well, he was declared and he's an SP, unfortunately, but
I think he's so brainwashed that, but I still, I saw him recently at a family funeral.
You did?
Yeah. But again, I don't want people to think I'm just praising my Aunt Penny and my Aunt Prue for no reason. They made that happen. So long story short, my Aunt Penny's former husband Wayne, so who's my uncle, just a fantastic person. One of his daughters and his two daughters were who I was closest to, my cousins, when growing up, Wendy and Alexa. And I was asked, what do I remember about Wayne most? Because again, I mean, I saw Wayne maybe once a year, maybe twice. And then there was like a 10-year period where I did not see him. Well, what I remembered most about Wayne was he was always smiling. He was always happy. He was always in a good mood. All the kids loved him. He's just this like exuberant character that I was always like, oh, Wayne, he's there. Like that. I don't know how to explain it, but he was just that person that made you feel good, made everyone in the room feel good.
I love that. I love those kinds of people.
So it was his celebration of life. And before the celebration of life was going to occur, my dad's sisters were in contact with him, and he had specifically asked, are Sterling and Nathan going to be there? And the vibe of that was a little bit of, well, if they're there, I might not go. So I really didn't want my scenario with my father to trump this, because this is a celebration of life for Wayne, for my cousins, Alexa and Wendy. The Scientology drama has no business being in this conversation. And
let me ask you one thing. I want to stop you for 1 second, because I'm trying to put this timeline together. When you saw him, when was this?
Beginning of this year, earlier this year.
Okay, so it's very recent. And then compared to when was the last time you had seen him?
Oh, last time I'd seen him.
2005?
No, 2000, maybe 2011 or 12.
Okay, so I wanted to get the timeline, like it had been a long time. Okay, go on.
Relevant,
sorry.
Very relevant. So I called up my I think I was speaking to my cousin Alexa, and I was like, and I was in tears. I was like, I just want to let you know that if at any point Foster demands that I not be there, and it interferes in any way with the celebration of life, which is for your father, I will bow out in a second. I will walk away in a second, because it's not about this thing with Foster. It's not about us. It's about your dad. And Alexa and my cousin Wendy then called too, said that, like, we love you, and we love your father, and we do not love Scientology. We want you to be there. And if there really was a choice, we would pick you first, because you're there for us. You're a family, and we're not okay with Scientology getting its fingers into anything about our family or anything like that. So at that point, their mom and my Aunt Prue took a stand and said, Sterling and Nathan are coming. And then I'm guessing at this point, conjecture that Foster had to make that decision of not showing up to a family member's celebration of life, how bad that would look compared to spending a couple hours with me and Nathan. And they chose to be there. Now, that's a little sad, because he did show up and I was happy to see him, but he gave me a cold shoulder, essentially, and didn't even ask me how I was.
I was going to say, was it like my dad at the Ideal Org event where he
no,
totally
it wasn't that. It wasn't that,
exist.
Because he would take a picture with me. He would even talk a little bit, but there was nothing there. It was
That makes me sad.
It was cold. And in some circumstances, you would go, well, that doesn't seem like that cold at all. But if you knew what my dad was really like, then it was super cold.
Did he hug or shake your hand or hug you or anything?
He hugged me, but it was, if I remember correctly, he didn't even put his arms. It was more of me hugging him.
Yeah.
And I got to say that day, my stepmom, Barbara, seemed more receptive than he did, which really breaks my heart because I was closest to my father than anyone.
Of course you were.
Yeah. That being said, it was sad in a way, but sort of nice in a way to see him. And I'll forever be grateful to my cousins and my aunts, because they're truly amazing people. And they went out of their way to make that happen for us. Yeah.
Did you feel anxious or excited knowing you were going to see him?
Not anxious. Not anxious. A part of my heart was excited because I really love my father,
and it had been so long.
And I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how he was going to react or how he was going to be, So.
How was his appearance? Like, did he look like he had aged a lot, like in a bad way?
He did look like he'd aged a lot, but I hadn't seen him for 10 years. So that's just going to come with the territory. He didn't look horrible. He just looked
like beat down or anything.
He just looked a lot older than I'd remembered. Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah, that was rough. That was rough.
I wonder if you'll ever see him again. Like, if he doesn't get out, will you see him again?
I hope I do. Mike Brown's story gave me a little faith that may happen. And all I can wish for is that I get what Mike has. And I know how hard he worked to get that with his mom. I'm hoping at some point I get that back because one of my things, I want to travel with my dad. He used to talk to me as a child about how much he loved traveling, and he loves London and he loves the pubs because they have these really small doors because everyone was shorter back in the day. And so I hope I get to do that with him at some point. I've gotten to travel with my mom, Biddy, which I love. And that's fantastic. So he's just next on my list.
Yeah, it's obviously something on your heart that you want to do. And I hope you do. I hope you get to. But I wondered if he doesn't leave the Sea Org,
it might not. But I've spoken many times about, again, I keep beating this point in, and Scientology doesn't necessarily make a bad person bad. People are bad by nature and can be that way. And maybe Scientology amplifies that. But when you have someone like Foster, who is actually a good person, he will do something bad because of Scientology. And this is a perfect example. Foster was a great dad. He was a nice person. He loves his family. He genuinely wants to help people, but he's willing to give up all his children for Scientology.
And then you have the opposite. You have my dad, who never liked his children. I mean, I don't know. I was reading the book and it seems like he liked me maybe a little bit, but not much. It was very on the surface and it was based on conditions. But that makes me very sad, because where did that feeling go? Like, where did that go? If what you just said, it's still there.
Yeah. And I know they lie to him. I know they tell him things about me that aren't true. I know that for a fact.
Of course they do. Of course they do. I'm sure they did that with my dad.
Yeah. They told him that I was in Germany protesting when Mark Headley and Marty Rathman went there. And I was like, I'd never been to Germany on a protest. I went to Germany and I had beer and schnitzel. I didn't protest. And that was 10 years after the incident where I was supposedly in Germany. So I know they lie to him. I know they
lie. Well, I mean,
he's got no way to verify it, right?
Think of like the most evil thing you can. It's probably 10 times worse than that. Scientology is super evil, and I'm not even a year out, and I'm really starting to learn that. So,
and they'll take anything they can to dig at you and hurt you. And this is why this organization does not deserve tax exempt status. If you want to be a practicing Scientologist, knock yourself out. But the organized part of Scientology, the Office of Special Affairs, RTC, the people that carry out these campaigns using tax exempt dollars and using your parishioners' funds, that's what needs to be wiped out.
Yeah.
In my book.
Totally. He's right, guys. I mean, I just hope it comes to an end. I really don't even want them to just lose that status. Of course, if they do, it probably would come crumbling down anyway.
I agree. But they couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford
it. Yeah. I really wish that it would somehow get exposed enough for people to open their eyes. But I say that, and then I immediately stop myself in my own mind going, Well, you didn't. I mean, I didn't. I was a true firm believer. And we talked about this last Wednesday when my mom and sister were like, just watch one episode of the Aftermath show. I was like, why would I want to see that? I'm not going. I mean, it was total tunnel vision. I had blinders. I was not willing to even listen to it, you know?
Isn't that, so, and I love that you did, but isn't that interesting? That's that you'll like every part of Scientology says, here's the facts, here's how life works, study this. And then when you're giving another piece of factual information that's not written by Scientology, you write it off somehow.
Totally write it off. And then they give you a dead agent pack on it and why it's all fake. And I mean,
fake news, all that kind of stuff.
It's totally crazy, guys, but I don't think about it enough. I probably should think about it more. The fact that like they really, really do a number on their members, just constantly. What's the word, Sterling? Like constantly making sure, like when I asked you if you had sex prior to marriage and you were like, oh no, they were all, you can't, guys. It's like, you're not allowed to go look online at something. You would get in huge trouble. It's not worth, you know, and it's not so much the fear of like, I better not do it. You're not even curious. You don't want to, like, you're so under their commands that it's like, I wasn't even interested in that show. I was like, no, because I know my religion's true and good and helps people. It's really fucked up.
It is. And it is the form of brainwashing that is Scientology. It is for sure.
Is that even brainwashing?
By the way, I just have to give it to you. Like, I didn't expect to go there today. And Reese, I appreciate your question, and just in case I forget to say it, good job on doing that. You really did.
No, I didn't know that we should, but I really was curious about that because, and it's not because I'm trying to step on your toes or go over boundaries I should not, but it's only because your dad is the opposite of my dad.
Right.
And I kind of am curious because I want to know the answers to these things so I can kind of compare it to what goes. I have a war in my own head. I battle all the time on. It hurts still to this day, even though he left when I was 16, like why he hates me, why he thinks of me today and goes, she was such a piece of shit. You have no idea what a piece of shit Reese Quabell is. So it helps me to talk, for you to talk about it in a selfish way. It helps me. So I hope that wasn't going too far. I know it's a touchy situation for you.
No, not at all. Not at all. And like I said, I appreciate your intelligent questions and getting to the point and letting me talk for a while. Actually, I do appreciate
yes. That. Well, I hope we can do that more, Sterling, because I like to talk too, as you know, you and my therapist both know that it doesn't stop. But I really do want to hear more about you, and we'll get to the questions now in the super chats and wrap it up. But I until you get poached, which will happen, Sterling's gonna get taken by other channels, guys, but I want to keep him as long as I can to keep this stuff up because it's really therapeutic for both of us, I believe. And I kind of like the going, we keep it balanced and we talk about both of us sometimes we go way more into my stuff, sometimes we talk about Sterling, and I just love that. It just means a lot to me. It's unravels some things that I feel like we're all like, oh wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're comparing and contrasting, and I just think there's something naturally therapeutic about that.
Yes, and maybe we can get Aaron to go there sometime. I know that he doesn't like to talk about his story; he thinks it's boring.
Well, he has the same reaction about his brother as I have about my dad, and there's pain there. At least in my opinion,
sure.
There's pain there.
And loss.
Yeah. Guys, I've said it before. You can't walk away from Scientology without some sort of trauma. That's not possible. A lot of us may seem normal on the outside, may repress a lot of stuff, but we deal with stuff, whether we even know it or not. We react instinctively to certain things on a daily basis and make decisions based on things that were beaten into us or we were trained to do there, and we might not even notice it. So in some cases, talking about that even in this format is beneficial for that because it allows you to take a step back and look at that and make a correct decision about whatever you're going to do in whatever scenario. Yeah.
I will tell you this, and that's true, Sterling, and then we'll get to the questions, but it makes me think, guys, and with all of us in here, it's compares to this what we've been saying. Well, Sterling just said sometimes we do a good job at like, acting normal or seeming normal. I don't. I come onto my channel and I talk about every single thing, and we go into all different directions, and we cry and we laugh, and there's really nothing you guys don't know at this point. But I have to say this, and Sterling, I kind of want to say it to you because you're kind of my rock here for this stuff. So Huxley's birthday was Friday. You know that. We talked about that in the beginning. Yeah. Doug and Brenda disconnected from us, his grandparents, and how much of a painful impact I thought that would have. I haven't talked to Huxley much about it, but his dad came today to pick him up, which is Doug and Brenda's son. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he picks him up. If he comes and sees him, he picks him up for a few hours and he always brings him home. Huxley doesn't like spend the night with him or anything.
And he's still a Scientologist.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But he's not, we used to be really close friends. And since I got declared, he's much more tight-lipped. And, if I say like, are they in town? He'll be like, I don't know. And it's like, okay, yeah. All right. It really broke my heart today. And my mom called. We were driving to Whole Foods and my mom was like, what's going on? And I said to Michael, Huxley went in his room to get his stuff. So I didn't say this in front of Huxley, but I said, did Doug, because he talks to his parents, he told me regularly, like at least once a week, he told me this. So I said, did Doug and they give him money. So he's kind of on the hook with them. I said, did Doug and Brenda tell you to tell Huxley happy birthday? And he was like, no. And I was like, I almost started crying. I was like, they didn't give you a card to give to him or anything? And he said, no. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. That's so shitty. So I tell my mom this on the way to Whole Foods and she goes, you would have been mad if they did. And I said, no, Mom. I said, it would have given me hope. Like it was the same feeling when I got outed by Aaron and overnight I lost hundreds of people on Facebook. People I've known since I was born literally blocked me. I couldn't find them. Right. So I'd hoped for a goodbye letter. I'd hoped for a disconnection, like, hey, I'm disconnecting from you. I've known you 38 years, but goodbye. That would have been more special to me and I would have handled it better. The closure, I think, would have been okay. My mom was wrong about that. If Michael had a card from them or something and said, here, this is from your grandparents, I would have felt better about it. I wouldn't have been angry. I would have been like, thank God there's still some emotion and they care. Nothing. And that just ties into what we've been talking about. It's like the heartbeat. There's no heartbeat. It's just, there's no blood flowing. It's just dead. It just died. I mean, these people could have died and I wouldn't know it. And I just think that kid is so special. And he's been in your lives since the day he was born. Nothing.
Nope. That is the evil that is Scientology.
And I was so hopeful. For months, I've been like, I wonder if they're going to mail a card. And I was like, no, because they don't want to mail it to my house because they hate me and I'm evil. So I thought, well, maybe they'll give Michael a card. And then I thought, maybe if they don't give him a card, but they just say, tell Huxley to Michael, like tell Huxley that we love him still. And nothing. I hate them. I don't want to hate people, but I hate them.
Yeah.
I never want to see him again. You're hopeful to see your dad again. If they came knocking on my door and said, we're out, we're sorry, I would say, yeah, me too.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I mean,
I hope I heal from that. I don't feel that way eventually, but like right now it's too fresh. I'm like, no.
And let's remember they're treating a child like this, a child that doesn't have control.
A child that loved them so much. Huxley was attached. This was not like a grandpa that he saw every once in a while. He stole my kid from me. I didn't know Huxley almost every weekend. My kid was gone. Now that's my fault. I shouldn't have allowed it, but they were so tight, so close that I'm like, oh my God. It's just, that's, I don't even know what you call that.
No.
Anyway.
No, it's Again, and so I think at that point you have to judge how the person is in a normal circumstance and then see if it's a Scientology effect that's creating that, or if they're just a bad person in the beginning. And I don't know them well enough, but I'm going to assume based on the relationship they had with Huxley prior to this, that they were good people to Huxley, at least.
Yeah.
And then now their brainwashing part of Scientology has convinced them to disown a child who's done nothing wrong. Despite what their parents may have done, the child's done nothing wrong. And that's just disgusting. And they don't realize they're constantly shooting themselves in the foot. Scientology is so outdated, so ignorant of what looks good and what is presentable in the real world that they constantly shoot themselves in the foot. They're so
That's a good way. That helps me to look at it that way. I appreciate you saying that. But I just, it kills me as his mother, because he's just he deserves all the love, and he's such a good, like, Huxley doesn't hate or even dislike people. Like, he's so accepting of everyone. And I can't bring it up to him because I don't like to, unless it's like an organic thing and he brings it up first, then I'm willing to, but I don't want to just like open a wound. But I'm like, what are you thinking? I want to be like, how do you feel about this? Because I'm like going in a million directions. I'm angry, but I want to cry. I'm just so upset. Like, how does it? I remember being 16 and my dad saying, I never want to see you again. It broke my heart.
Right.
So I'm like, how is he feeling? Because he's 14 now. And I just wonder, like, is this killing him? And I don't know it. Actually, he seems to be okay. I don't know if you saw what he said. It was kind of powerful on that live with him on his birthday. And somebody brought up Scientology and he was like, I don't care. He was like, I don't believe anything they say.
Yeah, I don't care.
It was kind of sad. Well, I mean, it was kind of sad though, just the way he like was so apathetic about it. He was like, I don't believe anything they say. I don't care.
You could see there was a little bit of pain there for sure.
A little bit. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to go into that long-winded thing, but I just, I don't know what you would even call that. Like, Sterling, I know you don't have kids, but I'm sure you have relationships with people where it's just as deep, right? So it's like, how can you flip that like a switch? There's nothing in this world, like nothing in this world that I can ever imagine that I would be like, you're not my son anymore. Don't call me. I could never. Like, it would never.
That's exactly what my Aunt Penny and my Aunt Prue say consistently. There's nothing you could do to ever make them not love their children.
And that's not unusual, by the way. It's not like, Reese, you're such a good mom for saying that. No, that's just a human being. That's supposed to come naturally with us. It's supposed to be part of us, that you would never abandon your family, not just children, your parents, anybody. Your flesh and blood, your true friends. You should never, there shouldn't be anything. That should be what unconditional love is. I guess I just don't even know what to call it. That you would just be like, bye, never again. I don't.
There's no word for it, and you can't apply logic to it. And you can't. It is purely a process of the brain washing, and it's really sad because I think when L. Ron Hubbard even created that scenario that is what we call disconnection, I don't think he was thinking about it at all. I don't think he took a moment to think about how that may affect a family or people in a family. He thought how that would affect when family members discovered that Scientology was a fraud and they complained or said something about it. He knew that he would lose that ATM that's currently, working up the bridge in Scientology. And that's all he was concerned about when he made that rule.
And I think that's right.
Here's the easiest way to do it. Let's just get rid of them.
And that's great and all, but then what about the mess you leave behind? What are we supposed to think? I mean, what about the people that you just do that to? And it's powerful. It's some seriously powerful evil stuff there that I'm like, I can't think with it. I truly can't. I guess I'll have to keep going to therapy. I can't wrap my mind around it.
It's almost black magic. I mean, to get someone, a family member, to disown their own child, grandchild, daughter, son, mom, even their aunt, uncles, and again, we are very aware that family dynamics can be a pain in the ass sometimes. Your in-laws aren't always your favorite people. You got cousins and uncles that may be, kind of less than favorable. But that being said, in Scientology, if you have a good relationship with someone, but they don't like Scientology, they're going to make you disconnect, not because of how you feel about that person, but because they want you to be away from that person. And it's just horrible. It's horrible. Anyways, yeah, it's horrible.
It's horrible. Anyway,
yeah.
I didn't
we
mean
could
to
not
get into
talk
all
about
that.
it enough on all of the channels. You just cannot talk about it enough.
You can't be, and everybody has such a painful story. It could just goes on and on, you guys. And some people, I feel like Aaron, I feel like you guys are so logical, and I cling to you guys for that. You're very intelligent. You help me get through it because I don't base it on any logic. I'm like, I truly unravel. I come apart at the seams. I'm like, I can take it. I was disconnected from so long ago. I don't really care, but like that kid is so wonderful and he's so innocent. Yeah. And he loves everybody and he's just trying to get through life like everybody else. And he's into sports. And I have to say,
you have a constant reminder of it, that it's affecting him, which makes it tough, I think, on you. You know what I mean? So it's not easy in that way.
Yeah. Yes. And I worry about, will this shape? I hope it doesn't, because he's kind of at a good age. Like if this had happened when he was 19 or 20, I'd be more worried.
Right.
But I feel like at this point, he'll probably just move on and forget. And Huxley is so good at separating the two and going, I know that's had nothing to do with me. Like they made a choice. He's kind of like you and Aaron. He's definitely more like looks at it logically. He doesn't blame himself and go, what did I do wrong? I do that stuff. He doesn't do that. So anyway, it's good, but it's so unhealthy. It's like, I just wish I could fix this and I can't.
I know exactly.
And I just hate them. I hate them. And they were the good Scientologists. Like they never hurt anybody physically. You know how we were talking about that last week. Like,
so they don't own any fax. They don't own any fax machines. You mean?
Nope, no fax machine. They don't have their concealed carry for a fax machine like I do. But I mean, they never like were the harmful Scientologists.
Yeah,
like you know how we like it enhances if you're an asshole like Dan O'Connor, the fax repairman. It's only going to make you more of an asshole. They were kind people. Right. So it makes me even more angry. It's like we weren't an asshole to begin with. So it's really upsets me that like, anyway, I could go on and on.
I completely understand what you're saying. And again, part of the message and we talk about all the negative of Scientology and people that have done bad things in Scientology. And we talk about our stories and we do all that stuff. I value and think it's important in what you just said to also acknowledge and the people that we still think have a heart, the people that aren't inherently bad, to acknowledge them here publicly, that we, one, still love them, would either forgive them. In your case, I know you're not. In my case, I would forgive my father in a second, but just to acknowledge that. So if one day maybe they bump into this, maybe they see something, they're like, okay, well, this guy's attacking Scientology, but he won't say, he still says that he loves people that are there, because there's not hate on this end. The hate only comes from Scientology.
Right.
You know what I mean? It only does. We can be upset about it. We can be emotional about it, but we don't hate. Hate's a very, very strong word.
And I'm still fresh that it applies. For
you
me.
Are much more fresh.
I feel so much hatred.
Yeah, I had to learn, because when someone gets on my bad side, I can develop a hate for them. And one thing that Justin told me, Justin's been out longer than me. He was like, dude, hate doesn't look good on you and doesn't fit. You got to let that go. You cannot just hate. It doesn't work. It doesn't help anyone in the end. And so I've had to learn to let that go, despite what the person did, even though it may be horrific in my mind. I've had to let that go. So no,
and that is so big of you, by the way. And I hope to get there. My goal, like I can feel the heat in my face as I talk about it. Yeah. I still, I'm very aware that I feel a lot of hatred, but I also am giving myself grace, going, you're feeling it still. It's not even been a year. Like I'm trying to give myself that grace, because the goal is to make peace. I want to make peace with this and be done. And I know I'm going to get there, but I can't also overlook the feelings. Like I'm not trying to get, I want to feel better, but right now I feel hatred, and I feel like that's okay. Hopefully that wears off and you can make peace with it. But right now it's just a lot of anger, and totally. I hate you is kind of just where I'm at. Anyway,
especially on his birthday. I get it.
Yeah. I just expect, it's weird. My mom doesn't always know me that well, because she was like, you would have been mad either way. And I thought, no, you have no idea. I would have felt relief. And a little glimmer of hope, that like, maybe there is hope for this, but, it's just, I also do this thing where I expect people to do what I would do. And I'm like, you've got to stop doing that. Like people are not they're not going to rise up to the level that you think they are, just because that's what I would do.
Yeah, I have a pet peeve with that one where it's people that don't acknowledge or say thank you when they're given something, an opportunity or something that is outside the normal. It drives me nuts. To this day, I still thank the person that hooked me up with the firm that got me the job that I have now. I talk to her every day. I'll be like, you know what? I still, by the way, every once in a while when I have a great week at work, I'll be like, you know what? I'm always going to remember that you were the girl that suggested it. You were the one that drove me to that job interview that day, that led me into what I do now. But I know a lot of people that, like, even I will do something for them and they won't be like, oh, thank you for that. I'm like, would you?
Yes.
All I needed was a thank you, or a heartfelt, and it's funny but then you have to realize that's just how I am.
Yes.
I'll compliment people on my YouTube channel that I don't even really like that much because they did a good job. So it happens that way. It's natural. But yeah, let's bounce on to the questions.
Yes. I will say some good has come out of it real quick. I will say, as much as I hate and feel all that, I also feel things more than I ever did before. Like the things I love, like it's silly, but just going to get those enchiladas today and like getting out of the house, I was like, can we also get like a side of this? And she brought it and I was like, thank you so much. Like I was but it was real. I was just like feeling, I feel also a lot of joy in things that I never felt before. And just I also just try to feel it to the extreme, whether it's hate or joy, like just you're in the moment, like just really enjoy, just you're not a Scientologist anymore. You can do whatever you want. It's kind of a nice feeling.
Exactly.
Let's address the super chats because there's like a ton of questions. It's up to you.
Let's do it.
But
let's knock it out.
Barb says, anybody want stats from the party? 700 plus guests from 104 places in a total. What?
Oh, was this the fundraising event that happened this weekend somewhere that
I'm not sure.
But hey, looks like a fantastic party.
It does. That's exciting, Barb. Thank you for your super chat, babe. She probably will follow up on that. Blake Reed, Sterling, your Palomas were a huge hit with me. Oh, he told me to tell you that. Sorry, Blake, I didn't tell him. And two dear friends of mine, they really helped close an awesome weekend. Blake was texting me, and I think he was a little tipsy when he was texting me about or messaging me about that. Yeah.
Well, I want to say, I did a survey too, and a lot of people comment that I don't drink alcohol, blah, blah. Guys, you know what? I'm one of those people that respect you either way. I don't think you have to have a drink to have a good time. I also don't drink in excess. I'm happy with whatever balance you have in your life that makes that. I just also happen to love mixology and making drinks for other people. I get a pleasure out of it. I'm also a gift giver. I love giving gifts to people. It's just what I like doing. I like, now, by the way, I don't like giving anyone a gift of something they asked for. That drives me nuts. I like surprising people with gifts.
That's nice. I think
it's just kind of what I like to do. So I like that sort of thing. So drinks and stuff. Yeah.
By the way, they're saying it was from Huxley's party. Guys, I did not realize that, but I talked to him about it. I think he wants to put the money toward his scout. Sterling, he's a Boy Scout, and they're going next Christmas for a week to camp at Disney World.
What?
Yeah. And so I think it's expensive. And so I think we're going to put the money toward that if everybody's okay with it. Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah.
Theodosia, by the way, grandma lady wants to know where I get my necklaces. Theodosia, it's in Charleston. Look it up. It's really cool.
No one wants to know where I get my shirts from. Okay, fine,
whatever. They were all saying that your shirts obviously came from Aaron.
Oh no! So to be clear, no. Aaron gets his shirts from Walmart. My shirts do not come from Walmart.
I could see that about him.
I think he said that. I'm not making fun of him. Okay.
No, he's just cheap about stuff. No, he's cheap about certain things. That doesn't surprise me. That's funny. That's a great shirt, though. By the way.
Thank you so much.
I noticed you have a shirt on. Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Remember when he asked Matthew McConaughey that? I noticed you're wearing a shirt in between two ferns. It's so funny.
It's so good.
Yes, the backdrop for his show, his channel, Kansas City Chiefs, Barb, because
that's a great idea.
She got him.
Well, he needs to do Chiefs and Royals or Chiefs and Dodge or whatever,
Yes. Either way, he loves baseball. Blakey, Dave Miscavige's face is so triggering. It sure is. But your wedding photo is beautiful beyond measure. Matrimony looks good on you. Aw.
Thank you.
That's sweet, Blakey.
Dave Miscavige did not come to the wedding in LA, by the way. He was at the wedding up at Golden Air Productions. Shelly came by herself.
What a creeper.
Yeah, right.
Blakey again, even on the singular path, may the how do I say that? Sojourner learn all he can about himself and enjoy life in all its splendor, unbridled and uninterpreted. See, nothing wrong with being single.
That's guys, right, there's no shame in that for me at all. I don't even consider that.
Why would there be?
Yeah, I'm enjoying life. Let's put it that way.
I don't think there's any attachments to shame there anymore. It's like being gay. Like nobody cares anymore. It's totally fine to be gay. There's no shame in that.
Which I wish John Travolta would just come out, because
me too. It's like you could be happy.
He's such a kind, generous person.
Yeah, he could find himself a great partner. Like nobody cares. It's actually, we support that. It's fine.
Nobody but Scientologists, to be clear.
That's true. That's true. But he would be happy, and I feel bad that he can't come out. Cheryl Neal, happy Sunday, beautify Reese. So happy to make another live. Cheryl, thank you. That's so sweet, babe. Nice. I love that. Hi, Sterling and Reese from Cheryl again. So happy to see you both on a rainy Sunday. It's rainy here too. Makes my heart happy. It's been a crappy day. I hate it when it rains because then I can't wear certain things.
It is beautiful and sunny here in LA today. It's gorgeous.
I wore my golden goose shoes today, and I was like, oh my God, it's raining. Blake Reed, your parents don't know how proud they should be of the two of you. That's why you must never doubt yourselves. I love Blake. And look how young he is. He's like 12. It's crazy. He has so much wisdom. Do you want to read any of these? I'm just like took over.
No, go ahead. I mean,
there's Barbara.
Yeah,
you both are like a phoenix rising from the ashes. We love you both so much. I love her.
Thank you so much.
Barbara, you're a little angel. Everybody knows it. The hardest truth, Blake says, future blowers are going to realize is that SP blowers, like people who leave, are going to realize is that SPs disconnect from other SPs too. You better get smart on that now, Osa. Yeah. Yep. You're so smart. So true. Thanks for your, Blake again. Look at this. He's on a roll tonight. The word you're looking for is trade-off, and it takes a whole new disgusting definition in this case. It's horrible, and I hate that. That's what Scientology made. Maybe you should read some of these. Clearly, I'm having problems. Made you in the eyes of your loved ones. It's truly horrible.
Yeah, I think he's referring to the disconnection.
Yeah.
The grandparents, they're trading off one. And, we'll talk about it in the future. I also have a little bit of a theory on that too, because part of why someone in Scientology would disconnect from a family member is because they want to eventually move up the bridge to total freedom and become an all-powerful being. And by being connected to a suppressive person, they can't do that, which sometimes to me is a little bit selfish. It's like, so because it's stopping your freedom, you should penalize the kid. So there's a mix of it in there between the brainwashing and actual selfishness in my mind. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. And by the way, Blake, I was off by 12 years. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Let's see. Julie Markham, you don't have to hit to hurt someone 100%. Actually, Julie, I would rather be smacked around by a fax machine than what happened with my dad, to be honest. I feel like emotional scars can be much worse.
But that being said, the person, like the only time I ever got smacked when I was in the Sea organization was by a guy named Russ Bellin. I still have a little bit of yearning when I see that dude again. For some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I didn't get to settle it right then and there. But a part of me wants to settle it with him. So there we go.
I could see that. Yeah. Now, I did the super chats, but you starred some of these, and I thought I would let you, if you want to pick some.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to pop them up? And if I see it's the question, I'll just, one that I start, I'll do it. Just so I don't want to get mixed up with how you're handling the thing.
I think this is a good question, actually.
Yes. Nancy New 12 question. Do you both find yourself laughing more now than when you were in Scientology? That's a hard statistic to measure. I think I've always been laughing. Yes, more now because there's more opportunity for it, but not because of something Scientology did. Because when I had my friends in Scientology in the Sea organization, I still had a great time whenever we had time off. So
I would say yes for me. Yeah. I can laugh more freely. Whenever I was laughing in the Sea Org, in the regular org here, I was always shown a reference called Jokers and Degraders, and I was told I was out ethics for that. So it's not always.
Another thing you experienced at a lower level in Scientology, and I was at the top level, and I didn't deal with any of it. It's surprising to me, but I think there's there's a certain part of the top level of Scientology that knows that some of the stuff is just crap, and so they don't really enforce it.
And they probably spend more time on it outside of it than in the Sea Org. People are busy in the Sea Org. I also grew up on, because my dad was gone all the time, I would watch reruns all the time of George Carlin stand up. I mean, I was like 8, 9 years old, constantly watching Carlin. That's not appropriate for an 8-year-old, but I feel like I was raised by him in a way. He was so funny and classic, and I feel like I have kind of dark humor like him, pretty sarcastic. And
Carlin was amazing.
Oh, I loved him. I mean, I could quote so many things. I watched him that repeatedly, just over and over. But I would say my humor got a little bit dark, and that was not appropriate. So yeah, I definitely laugh more outside now because I'm free to. I would get pretty criticized, and again, shown a reference called Jokers and Degraders and why I shouldn't act this way, and you know, kind of reel yourself back in. You can't have that kind of humor. So yeah, it's different now. Keela had a good question for you.
Question, Sterling. Jenna said things were worse for her being related to DM due to other people treating her differently. Was it like that for you? Really good question. Actually, I think I've seen this girl before. I love her question. She's very intelligent. You know what? This is a controversial subject, and I may rub some people the wrong way by answering it the way I'm about to answer it, but this is my opinion in the matter. Would you mind leaving it up there for me, Reese, just in case?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem. So, okay, I'm very good friends with L. Ron Hubbard's granddaughter, who was treated much different because she was L. Ron Hubbard's granddaughter. Then you have, let's say, for instance, my sister. You have Justin. And why I'm going to use them as an example and not me is because even in certain scenarios, I don't think a lot of people realized that I was related to Justin or Jenna because we had different last names. We don't look alike, etc. So there was very weird instances where something would happen and Justin and Jenna may get treated differently, and I got treated completely differently only because the person enforcing whatever thing at that moment did not know that I was also related to them.
Okay.
So I'm going to use them as an example. The answer to the question is yes, I do think being closer in any way to the orbit of David Miscavige brings more pain. Did Jenna get special treatment because she was related to David Miscavige? Not necessarily. She got different treatment because she was Ronnie Miscavige and Biddy Miscavige's daughter. There were certain things she got that no one else got because of that. Certain privileges, traveling to Flag. And I'm not going to say those were all beneficial for her, but she definitely got different treatment, way more than Justin and myself. That being said, Justin and I did get to go home early from the ranch on the weekends. No other kids got that. And Mike Brown, by proxy, being our close friend, also got that treatment. So she got special treatment. But again, she was also always under a microscope.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yes. And when Biddy was removed from her position, when my mom was taken down, that opened the floodgates for all of us. And I think more Jenna than anyone else. I think Jenna got the brunt of it. I think I was second. Justin had already left by that time. So yes, her being related to Dave absolutely made things a lot more painful.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure we acknowledge that she also got some special treatment. All of us did at some point when we were there because of that, for sure. As a correlation, as a contrast to that, L. Ron Hubbard's granddaughter got special education, got a lot of extra treatment, was able to stay, sleep on the property at the base in a nice place. There was a bunch of benefits to that, got to learn martial arts, et cetera, et cetera. But again, even more so, she was very much under the microscope. Dave Miscavige did not like her. Dave Miscavige did not like anyone from L. Ron Hubbard's family, to be clear. And I don't know.
I could see that easily.
But it's true. And I don't know if people have spoken about it. It's a great thing I should cover at some point because he definitely just blew all L. Ron Hubbard's family away. He did not like any of them. And I do know L. Ron Hubbard's granddaughter got very, very mistreated later on in her years and accused and blamed for things she did not do because she was L. Ron Hubbard's granddaughter and maybe she missed Dave's withhold. or whatever it was. But yeah, so yes, I think it goes both ways, to be honest with you. I can get into much more detail on that in another video at some point, but there's the pros and the cons of being related to Dave Miscavige, but it's weighed heavily on the con side for sure. And Jenna got a large brunt of that. But I think, in my opinion, she got a large brunt of it after Biddy left because Dave would not mess with Biddy.
Interesting.
And that's something I'm going to cover in the near future. You'd have to know my mom and meet my mom to understand how that could work. But she's a tough cookie, guys. She is no joke. Yeah, no joke. So I hope that answers your question.
That's a good question. Good answer, honestly. This one was good too.
Want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, gotcha. Question. Hey guys, asked this before, but was near the end of your chat. Is there a big percentage of people that go back to COS after leaving and seeing they aren't equipped for the real world? You know, I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so. I only know of my stepmom, Barbara, doing that. And I think that would be the only instance I know of that.
Yeah.
That's the stuff of nightmares. I just don't.
Yeah, it sure is. It's like breaking back into Alcatraz.
I you know what? I do think Elvis Presley's granddaughter may have gone back to Scientology after, but I'm not sure how that timeline works. Maybe Aaron can ask that of Lisa, of her brother, her stepbrother at some point. Lisa, not Lisa Marie, but Priscilla's son.
Yeah.
So not the stepbrother, whatever he's the relation to him. But I those are the only stories I know about it. So
yeah, that's interesting. Real quick, I want to say this. Lydia Huxley looks so handsome. Guys, she's the one who got Huxley the jacket. She got him so many gifts. I emailed you about a Christmas gift.
That was so cool.
Oh my God. Wasn't that the coolest
so
jacket?
Nice. Yeah.
It was so cool. I don't even care about sports, but I kind of wanted one. I also emailed you. Okay. Thank you, Lydia. You're amazing. You don't have to do that. I just want you to know you've done more than enough, babe. But thank you. And I honestly wanted the chat to know that you were so amazing and got him that jacket. So thank you, babe. We can wrap it up, Sterling. I mean, there's still quite a few. Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
I always like to get to them because if they ask the question, it's good. But let's just cut it off at 2 hours 15, and we'll get as much as we can. I'll try to be more succinct in my answers.
I thought this was an interesting question from Brandon.
Scientology question. This might have been asked before another time, but what initially sincerely kept you both in Scientology beliefs?
It's hard to say because we were born into it, though.
Yeah.
To be fair.
For me, guys, I really didn't believe in Scientology that much. There was the enticement of the upper levels. I thought there may be potential powers, like Jedi powers, like moving stuff with your mind, which would have been so freaking cool. But
they dangle that carrot.
Once I got to a literate level, once I joined the Sea Org, my interest in progressing in Scientology was almost nil. I didn't really care for the subject. I didn't seem anything amazing to me. Yeah, that answers for me.
Yeah. Okay. For me, it's about the same, but I always wanted to get to the upper levels. You know, I always admired the OT8s. I thought they were cool, and I thought I want to get to that point. So yeah. There was another one. Let me take a look here. Unstar that one. We already did it. I mean, that's kind of an interesting question. I feel like we've addressed this before. Does Scientology have any kind of dress code or policy on things like tattoos? Probably less now than they used to because so many people have piercings and tattoos, but it's still pretty strict. I mean, I know the executive director at my org, like if I had pigtails, she was like, take those out. You know, like it's just it's a PR thing. Mm-hmm. She was pretty damn strict. Yeah.
When we were at Gold, there was a story briefly where Dave Miscavige had a beef with people wearing goatees. Now, I have to agree with him on that. I think goatees look horrible. But there were certain dress things that bugged him. He even made a comment once that because a lot of people didn't have money for clothes and they would wear jeans and a white T-shirt or something along that line, he would make snide comments or derogatory statements about, look at all these people dressed in their underwear, essentially. And I'm like, what kind of prick says that when he's wearing Gucci and Prada crap
all
the time, knowing that we can't afford anything than our white Hanes t-shirt.
What a stupid
That being said,
asshole.
I used to wear baggy baseball and football jerseys on Saturdays when I was there, and I was the only one that did that.
What a pathetic turd. I can't stand him. Candy's Life, retype your question in.
Lisa had a question for Sterling. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, so I'm going to rely on her to type it back in. Oh, was this it? What is your favorite volleyball position?
Volleyball position. I love being the spike girl. Well, I play beach volleyball. So there's only 2 positions, and I like to be on the right side.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, here's another sporty question from Rocky Mountain High.
Yes, I tagged that one. Now that volleyball and baseball is over, what do you do sport-wise in the winter months? So right now I'm rehabbing an injury. So I'm not playing any sports until January 2024. But normally in this time, and it gets slow, I would be doing tennis and a little bit of rock climbing and just exercise until everything picks back up again. Yeah. So
me too. I can't get enough of it.
I might do a little pickleball too over the holidays with family that can't play tennis. So,
of course.
Yeah. Which is everyone in my family. Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Again, I'm all about fitness as well over here. I don't know if you knew in the Midwest.
we need food questions.
Yeah, we need snack questions. Speaking of food, it's sporty. Do you help your mom? Like when you're going to go have Thanksgiving with her, will you?
Oh, no, that's all going to be for show. By help my mom, it means I move out of her way when I have the glass of wine in my hand so that she can get to the next dish or the next tray. And then I get back in frame and then I back up again and I kind of talk her ear off. That's what I mean by help my mom for Thanksgiving dinner.
See, Huxley's even going to help me, but this is our first Thanksgiving together, so we're pretty excited about it.
But don't tell anyone else. My job is to bring the wine. So I'm bringing a cheap bottle for my brother and his friends because they're not wine people. And I'm going to bring the nice bottle for me and my mom, but I'm not going to tell anyone at the party that. So
what I was going to ask you that, like, will it be your whole family?
No, it's going to be me, Justin's girlfriend, Justin's girlfriend's brother, and my mom.
Can I ask, has Justin been married?
No.
Okay. No. So he's just clooneying it. He's just being Clooney.
It. Well, I want to say more Bill Murraying it than Clooneying it, but you can call it whatever you want to.
Jenna, you put together gingerbread houses? Whoa. No, we don't do anything like that.
Oof. Traditions I have for Thanksgiving is eating and drinking. I love Thanksgiving, guys. I love spending time and I love good food. My mom's an excellent cook. Really
nice. Yeah. That's nice.
She is super creative in the kitchen and she loves doing it. So I'm excited for that. And
I hope you guys do a live.
Giving her moral support the entire time she's working hard prepping dinner.
That's really sweet. What's your favorite wine? Anita wants to know.
I love red burgundies. Red burgundies are my favorite. I don't have a specific brand of red burgundy because there's so many. I usually go to the wine specialist store and I just go through the shelf and I pick out whatever vintage looks like it may be good. I try it out and then I'll go to that same maker or that same vineyard over and over again. Yep.
I've never heard of this, Diana. Oh, have you ever played what?
The Ushuri. It must be. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is. I can't even pronounce it.
The answer to that question, does Scientology ever do charity work?
No.
Never.
No.
I mean, they bring the volunteer ministers bring water and assist booklets to disasters.
Oh, really?
You knew that. Like John Travolta will fly water.
Oh, but that's not charity work. Yeah. Right.
That's not. Yeah. No, they don't do actual charity work, guys. Nothing but love. I thought this was really nice. Reese Sterling, thank you so much for just being here to give us all a break from the craziness in life. I have not much on my mind weighing me down, and this just lifts me up. You two are wonderful. I love hearing that. It never gets old for me. Thank you. Nothing but love. We love you, babe.
And great name. Great name.
I know. I love her. Guys, I just want to say we're probably going to wrap it up, but I love doing these with Sterling. I'm so happy when he reached out to me. I was in a thrift store shopping with Huxley yesterday, and he texted me. By the way, we found some killer Air Jordans for him, like
What?
brand new. They were so cool.
Are they
I got them
original?
for,
Like,
probably
are
not.
they from the 90s, or are they the new cuts? Do you know?
No, they're the new kind. But I looked them up. I got them for $60, and they're still out, brand new, and they're
That's awesome.
125. So I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Can't go wrong with Air Jordans.
Yeah, we were in a thrift store, and I was so excited. Sterling reached out and said his plans changed and he wanted to do something today. So I want to keep this up. Like I said, I want to keep him as long as we can before he gets poached, because he is going to get big and popular and leave me in the dust.
No.
Blakey, what are your guys' favorite things, sports or Blake? You know I'm not into sports. Now you're just rubbing it in, Blake.
Oh, by the way, for our next game night with Aaron, I have a wonderful game. Chat, tell me what you think about this. It's a game called Bad People. Basically, it's a card. You read off what the card says, and then everyone votes on which person is most likely to fit the description on that card based on, like, an example. One of the questions is like, who's most likely to get a tattoo that's later going to remove it? I think that would be a blast. So we could read the card.
That would be fun.
The chat could vote which one of us, you, me, or Aaron, would most likely fit that description, and we could see how much of friends the chat really is, because that's why it's called Bad People, because you get to see what people really think of you. Anyways, I thought it would be fun.
That sounds fun. Yeah. I would totally do that. Somebody else recommended playing Never Have I Ever.
Ooh, I have not played that. I don't think. I don't know what it is.
I saw a bunch of celebrities play it once on like a Jimmy Fallon night or something, but it looked interesting.
Sounds good to
also,
me.
John Shostowski sent me Trivial Pursuit of like all pop culture.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I love him. You can always count on him. He sends such fun stuff. Yeah, Blake, I don't want to go. Yes, I have that guy too. I just don't know where. Blake, I don't have an answer to that question. You know, I'm not into sports, but I'm kind of a homebody, Blake. I'm not into a lot of stuff, and kind of an introvert about things, but I like to shop, and I love a cheese enchilada.
Again, those are sports. Just in case,
I got to answer you, brother. Hold on, just real quick. The lifeboat, guys. That's Tommy Scoville. You texted me earlier. I haven't answered you, guys. I'm going to do a live with him hopefully this week. We haven't talked about it yet, Tommy, but I'm really looking forward to meeting you. So, guys, I want you all to know that. Thanks for coming into the chat, man. What were you going to say, my friend?
I was just going to say, we have 1,100 people watching this live.
I know. Right, it's crazy.
That's amazing. So I thought you guys would all have much better things to do than listen to us drone on for 2 hours. But if you are in here, please go on ahead and hit that like button and subscribe button. It makes a difference. Thank you so much.
Especially for me. Sterling keeps growing and I am going backwards. People are unsubscribing. Now, if you hate me again, I wish you well. But if you don't and you happen to get unsubscribed, please just check, because it gives me anxiety. You guys know I have like real fear issues of you leaving me. So please check that. It would make my night, and I'll see the number go back up and I'll feel right in the world and I'll sleep better. So you guys, this has been really nice. This has been really amazing. And I feel this way every time. It's like a natural high for me. I'm serious. I love these people, Sterling. They are all my friends. I love these people.
They're awesome. They're really awesome.
Do you feel good about this, or was there more things that you wanted to say?
I love that we don't pre-plan this and it just goes where it goes. So, and I appreciate your questions, Reese. They were very intelligent, well said. And of course, I don't expect my channel to grow like crazy. There's a finite amount of people that are interested in content like this. The people that do listen to you and I appreciate very, very much.
I do too.
But I will keep going on with you until we both reach the state of clear.
Until you get poached.
Until I get poached. Hey, no, guys, really, thank you so much, Reese. Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Guys, this was so much fun. Hopefully, maybe next weekend we'll see you, Sterling, but you let us know your schedule since your plans changed. I do like to keep up on the Sunday thing. Now, Aaron doesn't get back till next week, so I don't know if we'll have a game night this week, but we'll see. And hopefully we'll keep that up, because I love game night. I have to be honest, I loved the thing we did last, the guessing the word.
Oh, yeah, that's super fun.
Still have more words I'm thinking about that are just going to make you crazy.
Of course, our talks are, some of them are going to be deep and heartfelt. Some of them are going to be funny. We're going to laugh. There's a mixture of that in here because you got to laugh at it sometimes. And I can't wait to get Aaron back on with us so we can do that more. But
I miss him so much. I'm having total withdrawals. Blakey, the sports was for Sterling. Oh, sorry. I was mean to you about it too. Sorry, Blake. I still haven't done a lot of shopping on it, Blake, but I will. I promise. It's ridiculous. I can't answer that question yet. It's because of Huxley's birthday. I've been so behind with his birthday.
John,
you're the cookie monster. Did he send you cookies?
He did. I am the cookie monster.
What did he send
me
you?
A box of grandma cookies. I then brought it to my softball finals last Sunday, and I gave it to all my team for doing such a good job for the season, because I can't eat all those cookies because I'll get fat. But that was so cool that he did that. That was so cool he did that. So thank you.
That is, you know what he sent me? He sent me a box of chocolates.
Oh,
I love John too? John's like a new husband. I feel, or like a new boyfriend. Like he sends me stuff like a boyfriend should. Like Jeff totally dropped off doing stuff like that. So I really get excited about it. He'll even message me and be like, "You have chocolates on the way." I'm like, I think he knows too when my Shark Week is. So I really love that he cares that much.
He's keeping track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they were good chocolates. What an angel.
Oh, chocolates. I've got a weakness for that too.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, well, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. So I was going to say something like Happy Thanksgiving, but that's ridiculous. I'll be back in like 12 hours.
Well, and you guys, you look at, if we don't see you guys, if I don't see you before Thanksgiving, please, everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Visit your family if you do love your family.
Jeff? No, don't boycott.
Just have a great time. Thanksgiving is truly a time just to be thankful for what you have. You're not always going to have the people in your life you love. So, the time you can spend with them now and enjoy them being around, do it. I know my mom is thrilled out of her mind that she's getting Justin and I together for Thanksgiving. I think it's the first time in 20 years that we're all.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So, super excited for that. And it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, I appreciate what I have now more than ever. So just going along with what you just said, Sterling, I mean, there may be people you don't love, but remember that, like Aaron says, at least you're not in a cult. I mean, seriously, it's so true. It's nice to be out here in the real world and free. I'm appreciative so much more for what I have now.
Absolutely.
So, okay, guys, we're dragging this out like a Midwest goodbye.
See you later.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna do I do have an outro. I guess I'll play Fred real quick, and then we will see you. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye.